I'm in the world but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
The left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, hitting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! We need some PlayStations! Let's go to Target!
I'm in the world but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, hitting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! We need some PlayStations! Let's go to Target!
COVID-19 guns immigration. Is it clear to you? What up? What up, Speaker for the Dead? Amanda, Jeff. Hola. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. It's Thanksgiving in 3 days. 3 days. It's Monday, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, yeah. Thanksgiving's coming up. We're doing our Thanksgiving special today. What's special about it? Not much. Not much today. I got all my Thanksgiving food ready. We're going a little more fancy this year. A little more fancy. Instead of just canned goods, I'm going to have some frozen vegetables. You know, for my green bean casserole. We're still going to use some canned green beans because you need that mushiness from the can. Then I'm going to add some frozen veggies into there so it'll be a little more fresh, crunchy. Little pop from the cherries, you know? Cherries. I meant peas. Putting some peas and carrots in that green bean casserole. Putting some frozen fresh sweet potato into that yam. Into them yams. We'll talk about Thanksgiving foods today. The best Thanksgiving foods. What are the best Thanksgiving sides? And the history of Thanksgiving. We're going to do what we do every year on Thanksgiving. This is either, I know I've been doing the show for, well, it hasn't been 3 full years yet. It's been 2 years and a bunch of change. So this is the third Dreaded Conservative Thanksgiving. But I think we started the stream. No, this should be the fourth. The third or the fourth. I don't know. But as we do every year, ooh, green beans and bacon. As we do, I might put some bacon in my green bean casserole this year. That might be good. I'm gonna put bacon in. I'm gonna make mac and cheese. We'll talk about it. But as we do every year, we're gonna watch Rush's Thanksgiving story. We're gonna watch the long one this year because I don't have much of a show put together to get today. The news is slow after the election still, but we do have COP29, the climate conference just happened. We'll talk about what happened at COP29. Basically, the through line is all the poor people are mad because $300 billion a year isn't enough to save the climate. So we need more money. The rich companies need to pay for these poor countries. Did I just say companies or countries? Same thing. They need to pay for the poor countries for their climate. That's what's going down. We'll talk about the Laken Riley trial. We'll watch some footage from the trial. It already happened and ended. I didn't even realize till yesterday when I was putting the show together that he actually already got sentenced. So the trial's already, it started earlier in the week, already over. Quick deliberation. Dude's guilty. We'll talk about the sentence. We'll talk about what happened with Laken Riley. And then we'll talk about some interesting things that the media doesn't really want to talk about too much. And it's a convenient timing to hold the trial right after the elections. But seems like Biden administration's immigration policies are directly related to Laken Riley's death. So we'll talk about that. What up, John Barrett? Bunch of little random stories in rapid fire news. And then for the end of the show, I don't have like a last segment, so we'll just hang out with the chat. Maybe if you guys want to do call-ins, I'm not going to open the Discord panel till the after party, but we could do one-on-one calls on Discord. If you just want to call me during that section and I see it ringing, then you can jump in, tell me, or you just tell me in chat what you're doing for Thanksgiving, and we'll hang out for a little while. The cat spectator's on here. Oh, she's on here. She want to make sure we all know. All right, let me close this and get my articles up. So, it's Thanksgiving. It's Turkey Day. We're going to talk a little bit about, too, how the lefties, they always want to cancel Thanksgiving. They've kind of backed off of that, especially in Trump's America. No more of that. It's Columbus Day. It's Christmas is not pagan. Easter is not pagan. Halloween is not pagan. Thanksgiving is American as all get out. 4th of July, Memorial Day, Veterans Day. Screw Labor Day. We can get rid of Labor Day, that commie holiday. We don't need Labor Day. What else? We'll take Valentine's Day. St. Valentine, That's a Christian holiday. I love y'all. Well, we love you too. If I love anybody, I love the cat spectator. So we're taking our holidays back. We'll talk about how the lefties think that Thanksgiving is a white supremacist holiday. Hey, if Thanksgiving is white supremacist, then for the supremacy we rise. Thanksgiving and Halloween, we don't do that down under. Down under, you don't do. Well, what happened? Did a dingo eat your baby? Why? Crikey, you don't do Thanksgiving and Halloween? Wow. Let's start with something light, though. Let's start with Thanksgiving food. It's the food. What are the best, most common foods? I have a list. I don't need to read the list, but they got some weird stuff on this list. We're going to see if we come up with any new ideas. I'll tell you what I'm doing out of here. Look, turkey, must. Stuffing is a must. I don't stuff the stuffing into the turkey, right? I make the stuffing separate, but I do stuff the turkey with I'm going to use some butternut squash, some acorn squash, some onions, sprinkle some brown sugar on that little cluster of veggies, shove it up in that turkey, cook it for like, I don't know, I forget the ratio, but you cook that mug on like 13 minutes for every pound at 350, right? Throw that thing in there. And then in the last hour, you're going to have your candied yams. You gotta have stuffing. I said that. Mashed potatoes or a potato side? I don't know. I did mashed potatoes one year. I did potato salad one year. I did baked potatoes one year. It's always too much, you know? I don't need to throw the potatoes on top of all the other stuff that we're going to have. So I might cut the taters this year, and I think I'm going to go mac and cheese instead. But I'm going to make a real mac and cheese with bacon chunks and green peppers in it and some jalapenos and what's the other thing? Oh, panko. We're going to put some panko in that in that mac. What's up, Elder Lion? We're having a chill show today. We're talking about Thanksgiving right now. Okay, so turkey stuffing, a potato thing. Most people stick with mashed taters. You know, you can get you some mashed taters in there. I gotta have a green bean casserole. Green bean casserole, simple. 4 cans of green beans, 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup, a cup of milk. I think it's a cup. I just eye it out. You know, you want them, you want them veggies lightly swimming in the sauce. And then you're gonna throw like 3/4 of your French's onion straws on top of that. In the last hour, your cookies turking, you throw your yams, candied yams. Gotta have candied yams. You get yourself 2 of those big cans of yams. You drain it because the butter, you're gonna put a lot of butter in this, and it's gonna be really juicy if you don't drain these things out. You drain these yams, pour the yams in one of them pans, cut up some butter, lots of butter, put it on top, sprinkle some brown sugar. I like to throw a little dash of vanilla in there. Sweet potato casserole too. It's sweet. It's so sweet potatoes is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about candied yams, but I've heard of sweet potato casserole, and the recipe is on the can of the sweet potatoes that I bought of the yams. Um, Sweet potato casserole. I don't know if I've ever had that. Is it like a bread pudding with sweet potatoes in it? Maybe I have. I don't know. That sounds good. Yeah, something with sweet potatoes. And then you put mushrooms. Don't put mushrooms on your yams, guys. Unless you want a crazy Thanksgiving, you get the purple ones. Candied yams, marshmallows. They say use the little marshmallows. I use the bigger marshmallows, and I just like build a little house of marshmallow good. Get more coverage this way, and a thicker layer, more distributed evenly of marshmallows on top of your yams. So I do the not the giant marshmallows, but the bigger marshmallows, the ones you make s'mores with. I pack them in the pan. When you put your green bean casserole, your yams, you throw them in like the last hour. You lost me at the can of yams. Oh, you're doing it with the fresh stuff. Listen, this is ghetto gourmet. We do as much as we can with boxes and cans. Hopefully RFK will save me from this, you know. But I'm poor, guys. I no, but I do have some frozen sweet potatoes that I'm gonna so that they're more like fresher than the canned stuff. So I'm gonna use 2 cans and some fresh sweet potatoes. Give it a little crunch. Purple ones. They don't sell the purple ones. Be wise. See, all the ladies, they know what's up for Thanksgiving. I cook for myself on Thanksgiving, but I make enough food for a family. And Shane's gonna come over. He'll get some Thanksgiving food over here. I got Wednesday night off. Hold on, we can't get into the plan yet until I finish the food segment. Cranberries. I've made my own cranberry sauce before. I have a video of it. I have a video making cranberry sauce on the street corner. Um, when I was a hobo, I was going to a friend's house for Thanksgiving, so I made a ghetto. Well, no, this was back when it was Hobo Cafe. Before it was Ghetto Gourmet, it was Hobo Cafe. And then I wasn't a hobo anymore, so I couldn't do Hobo Cafe. But I made cranberry sauce. Real cranberry sauce, which I had never made before. It's pretty good. I liked it. I did like it. It's so sweet and almost disgusting. It's actually delicious. Marshmallows and yams. What the fuck sounds? You've never had candied yams, bro? What is your life? What is this? See, I told you. Yep, Australia's not real. Actually, I didn't tell you. Other people have told you. I was not convinced. I remained unconvinced that Australia was not real. But if you've never had candied yams, your country's definitely not real. Look at this. I'm pulling it up. Hold up. Images. Look, check this out. This is what I got. The Princella. I got these Princella yams. All right, so check it out. I like the Bruces, but this year I got the Princellas. Get you 2 cans of this, the big old cans. Dump them in a pan. Put you some butter and some brown sugar, maybe a little vanilla. Sprinkled all over that piece. Throw marshmallows on top. Stick it in the oven. Get you a nice crispy brown layer on the marshies. Pull that piece out. Oh man, it's delicious. You never had candied yams. I don't know what you're doing with your life. It's making me hungry. I don't have anything sweet to eat right now. Okay, and cranberry. So anyway, I made the fresh cranberry before, the real cranberry sauce. But I just like the jellied damn canned cranberry. Just a can of that ocean spray? Ocean mist. Anyway, I can't think of what it's called right now. The cranberry's in the can and it's jelly. You just run a butter knife around that thing, dump it out on a plate, plop, cut you a slice, and it's great too if you have leftovers for the turkey sandwiches. The candied yams is a dessert, yes. The cranberry is kind of dessert. You know about the cranberry, right? Cranberry is the best fruit for some reason. It's my controversial opinion in my family. I'm the only one who eats the cranberries. I love the cranberry sauce. When you make the turkey sandwiches, you just cut you a little slice, put it right on the piece of bread, some turkeys, a little bit of everything on that Sammy. Close it up. Turkey Sammy's another great thing. So it looks like this fancy ass article is calling it green beans almondine. Green beans almondine. Their number one is mashed potato casserole, which I've never had before. This looks like scallop potatoes. It doesn't even look like mashed potatoes. Maybe that's. Oh, you know what? Those are French's onion straws. Mashed potatoes with bacon, chives. So it's like loaded mashed potatoes. Anyway, a potato thing, some green beans, roasted carrots with honey herb butter. No, that's too fancy for me. We're not doing that. I like a pasta salad on Thanksgiving. I'll make a pasta salad or a macaroni salad, but I make pasta salads, and it's cool because you can make the pasta salad the day before, stick that piece in the fridge. Then it gives you like a cold side with all your other hot foods. It's a good contrast. Cancel what? What? I need to make a zoom cam. I need to make a zoom scene that zooms in on my face. She said cancel Thanksgiving. Get out of here. We're going to talk about that, you damn libs. Cornbread stuffing with chorizo. This sounds a little too ethnic for me on Thanksgiving. See, I just wanted to look at what their top 10 was. I already gave you, I don't know if we got a 10. What do we get? Turkey, taters, casserole, yams, stuffing, gravy. We need gravy. You can make gravy with your turkey bag that you get with the turkey. Gravy. Pasta salad. Regular salad. You can throw a regular salad in there. You want to get healthy on Thanksgiving. Throw a regular salad in there. Rolls. Gotta have some rolls. Cranberry. So that's 10. And then desserts its own category. I like sweet potato pie. We want to have the pumpkin versus sweet potato debate. We can. Um, I just like the grittiness of the sweet potato pie. The pumpkin pie is more jellyish. I like the grittiness of the sweet potato pie. It tastes more real, you know? Oh my God, Cat, you're gonna piss me off, Cat. But we're gonna put you in timeout. You talking about? I know baby kale squash with acorns. This is a weak ass list. Duh. This list sucks. Look, damn chorizo stuffing, honey butter carrots, baby kale salad with acorn squash. What the? Buttermilk ranch angel biscuits. I just buy the King Hawaiian rolls. Them things are good. Hawaii's American, right? Creamy potatoes with chot for now. See, then they have another. This list sucks. Cranberry sauce. So see, this I made this before. This fancy cranberry sauce, and it was pretty good. But the jelly cranberry sauce is good too. What was I about to say? Oh, I was gonna say I don't think I'm gonna do sweet potato or pumpkin pie this year because the yams. You get your sweet potato and the yams. So I want to do like a different pie. You know, maybe some apple pie a la mode. Pecan pie. I can't stand pecan pie. Pumpkin risotto. I don't even know what that is. What is that? Soup? Ain't nobody eating soup on Thanksgiving. That's Italian also. This is America. And the Waldorf salad. A Waldorf salad, a fruity, nutty salad with some blue cheese. No. This I did not look at this list. I just threw a top 10 Thanksgiving sides list thinking to come up with new ideas. Herb focaccia? Isn't that French? Isn't that Italian for a bundle of sticks? Focacino? Focaccia? I think that's pretty close to the Italian word for bundle of sticks. Mashed potato and wild stuffed mushrooms? No. This list sucks. Giblet gravy. Now, giblet gravy, I don't put the giblets in my gravy. I've tried the giblets, not a fan of organs of chickens. I feed the giblets to Echo. The coolest part, this list sucks, by the way. Quinoa and mushroom stuffed acorn squash. What is this? A vegan Thanksgiving? They don't even have turkey. Well, this is sides, but air fryer Brussels sprouts. That's probably good, but I ain't making it on Thanksgiving. I've never had pumpkin pie or seen it being served. What is wrong with you? Focaccia. Focaccia. Oh, you tell me how to say that Italian word? All right, Fredo Fonzarelli. I don't know who eating that. What, the Brussels sprouts? Broccoli, cheese, and cracker casserole. That sounds good. Ooh, you know what? A broccoli casserole instead of a green bean casserole would have been good, but it's too late. I already got the stuff. That looks good. Cheesy broccoli casserole with crackers. You know, if it's got crackers in it, then it's good. Throw the whole Thanksgiving away if we're cooking off this list. Yeah, this list sucks. Apple cranberry sauce, sausage stuffing. I gave you my guys. I gave you my list. This list sucks. Potato rolls, roasted delicata squash. So pumpkin mac and cheese. Now you're going overboard with the pumpkin. I like pumpkin flavored coffee creamer. Go and get a pumpkin latte from Starbucks. But pumpkin mac and cheese, you're taking the joke too far. Twice baked potatoes, those are good. I did do baked potatoes last year for Thanksgiving. Here's how I do my turkey. All right, it's simple. I like to get the bag, the roasting bag. I get one of them big silver turkey pans. Let your turkey thaw out. And then it'd be good if you had one of them brushes and them squirters, but I don't have the brush or the squirter. So I just kind of go in with my hands. I just get a bunch of butter in my hands and I just coat that piece all over. I just massage that turkey up, right? I put some salt, some pepper, and some sort of other seasoning. Go out to my garden. Now it's winter. The frost came early this year, but I have some in my cabinet. I got some thyme, no basil, but some thyme. I get some chives out of the garden. I get some onions out of the garden. I'll chop that up and make a little thing. Rub the thyme on the outside, salt, pepper, seasoning on the outside with butter. Maybe a little honey. If you got a little honey, put a little honey drip on that thing and rub that in. Macaroni and cheese is a perfect dish on the own. Yeah, I'm gonna make a fancy mac and cheese this year. Okay, so you do all that, put it in the bag. It's already in the bag. Do this all while it's in the bag. I'll throw some. If you don't have the bag, actually, I might not. I didn't even get a bag this year because I think I did it last year without the bag, and I like this better. You kind of let it swim in a little bit of chicken broth, and then you chop you up your veggies that you're gonna stuff in this turkey. So onions, I'll put the leeks from the onions from my garden into it. Put a couple sticks of thyme in there. Um, if you got some basil, a little basil. Jay's got time on his hands. This quarter, it's a baster. Oh, I thought I read squirter. It's a blaster. Baster. Okay, a baster. Yes, I don't have a baster, and I don't have the brush. So, um, so I just massage it. I just massage the turkey. I stopped stuffing a turkey a few years ago just because it cooks faster that way. Yeah, like BY says, I got time on my hands and in my garden. Um, but then I stuff it with veggies. So I'm gonna use some butternut squash, some acorn squash, some onions, some leeks, some thyme. Shove it up in that turkey. Just ram it up in there, you know, and then put it in the oven. What is it? It's like 350 for like 5 hours, something like that. But yeah, I'm gonna do mac and cheese this year. I was gonna do mac and cheese instead of the pasta salad, but I figure I'll just make the pasta salad anyway the day before, and then it'll be in the fridge, in the Frigimator. I'm gonna prep everything the night before to save time on Thursday. Cause here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do Monday night show. Tomorrow, Tuesday night show, just like always. After the show today, I'm gonna get everything cleaned and ready to go. After the show tomorrow, I'm gonna go to bed early. I'm gonna sleep all day. Wake up Wednesday night. Shane's coming over because he wants to. I told him you want to come over for Thanksgiving and get some food. He said, yeah, but the only way he can only get a ride over here the night before because the people who would give him a ride are going to be doing stuff on Thanksgiving. So he's going to come over Wednesday night and stay the night here. And Wednesday night, I'm going to make everything. I'm going to make the green bean casserole, get it all ready. I'm going to make the candied yams. I'm going to make the pasta salad. I'm going to get the turkey all ready to go the night before. And then that way I can stream a little bit on Wednesday night and then wake up early Wednesday morning. Early for me being like 10 and throw everything in the oven. Watch the parade, Macy's Day Parade. That's a tradition. We're talking about culture of Thanksgiving. Right now, we're just talking about the food. We're done with the food. But we got the Macy's Day Parade. We got football games. The culture of Thanksgiving. It's an American holiday. Not a Christian holiday so much. Kind of is a Christian holiday, as we're going to see from the Rush video that we watch every year. It's a capitalist American with a tinge of Christian, Protestant Christian to be specific, um, background thrown into it, right? So gotta prep, gotta prep. Yeah, you get the prep done the night before, psh, you're cruising on Thanksgiving Day. You gotta prep. I think that's where I failed in the past, and I end up cooking all day, cooking all day, making stuff all day, from the time I wake up to the time I start eating. And I gotta go to work Thursday night, so my Thanksgiving off is Wednesday. I would go in Wednesday night, but it's a Thursday shift because most of my shift is after midnight Thursday morning, which kind of sucks. It means after I finish eating, I gotta go straight to work, and I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't want to do anything. I want to go to sleep. So American. Why do I say American? Because it started in America. It's America's first holiday. I heard somebody say in a debate once that June 16th or Juneteenth that Juneteenth was America's first holiday. And I was like, I don't know why I had to Google this, but you know when something's like so stupid that you can't think of why it's so stupid, but it just sounds really stupid to you? I heard that and I was like, wait, that sounds really stupid. Wait, what is America's first holiday? What's the first holiday we celebrate in America? And I couldn't think of it. And I Google it, and Google said, Thanksgiving, dumbass. And I was like, oh, yeah, thanks, Google. It is Thanksgiving, duh. The first holiday we celebrate in America would be Thanksgiving. But it's not everything we're told. It's not, that it was to make peace with the native Indians and blah, blah, blah. And to share and all this other stuff. It is that. It has some of that in it, but the reason it's a capitalist holiday is because they were celebrating surviving a super harsh winter. Most of them didn't survive. Surviving a brutal trip over here and a crazy harsh winter. And they had tried out socialism. And that's what we're going to see in the Rush story here in a minute. They had tried out socialism. They had realized it didn't work. And they changed to this is before socialism was even thought of. They changed to a capitalist plan. And that's what Thanksgiving is now. It's a capitalist American holiday. The Protestant Christian background, and I think this is in Wikipedia. Hold on, I don't have this in front of me. English Reformation. Yeah, the whole reason we were here. The whole reason that they were here in the first place. The where had they went? Holland. The settlers had went to Holland first. They had fled England because, and I struggle with this because I think I like theocracy. I like the idea of theocracy. But then somebody could argue America was built off of Protestantism. They were protesting the Catholic reign in England. And they fled to Holland. They stayed in Holland for a while, and then they ended up coming to the New World. They had heard about the New World, so they came here to settle here, and it was rough. And they had to get some help from the Indians. Squanto was based, but I think Squanto had already been converted because they brought him to England. But the Protestants, that was the first Thanksgiving feast. Later, the Puritans came, who were also Protestants. And so yeah, it has some Protestant background to it. Pure American holiday. And then some capitalism in there. It wasn't just, this culturally diverse, paint with all the colors of the wind Pocahontas scene, they were also feasting because they finally had food to eat. And it had been a really rough winter. So I'm going to read a little bit from Wikipedia. Prayers of thanks and special Thanksgiving ceremonies are common amongst most religions after harvests and at other times of the year. Oh, like lots of different cultures celebrate at this time of the year and have feasts. So it's not pagan just because you have a feast at this time of the year. Pagans. Wow, you know everything, but not that. We don't need to ride at dawn. What's that mean? I don't even know what that means. I do know everything. What up, Chris? Yo, Chris Lestrange. They do Thanksgiving in South Africa? No. Uh, Thanksgiving holidays history in North America is rooted in English traditions dating from the Protestant Reformation. It also has aspects of a harvest festival, even though harvest in New England occurs well before late November. Oh, yeah, so it's not a pagan festival. Shut up. On which the modern Thanksgiving holiday is celebrated. In the English tradition, days of Thanksgiving and special Thanksgiving religious services become important during the English Reformation in the reign of Henry VIII. Before 1536, there were 95 church holidays plus 52 Sundays when people were required to attend church and forego work. So they had a lot of feasts, and they just called it giving thanks at feast time. And when these Protestants came to America, they were struggling and they were suffering so much they couldn't feast. So when it came time after days of fasting, look, the holidays were to be replaced by specially called days of fasting and days of Thanksgiving, in response to events that the Puritans viewed as acts of special providence. Unexpected disasters or threats of judgment from on high called for days of fasting. So they came to the New World. They had a lot of days of fasting. And then when finally they were able to feast, they feasted. We do Heritage Day where we barbecue meat, fuck turkey. It's dry. No. Oh my God. Whoever made your turkey has been making your turkey wrong. My turkey's not dry. I got that wet ass turkey. Wat. Is that South Africa's flag? That's a gay flag. What was that, like a sideways peace sign? Juneteenth is a black holiday. What are you reading? I know. Cat Spectator. Damn, I know what Juneteenth is. I went to the Juneteenth celebration and trolled. I know what Juneteenth is. Somebody said in a debate that Juneteenth was the first American holiday. And I said, bullshit. And I Googled it like an idiot. What? Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to keep reading from this, but I think I covered it myself. I wanted to go over those Protestant origins. Rush will get into the capitalist aspect of it. Not pagan. I think most of all though, it's American. It's American. The white man stole our recipes but doesn't know Juneteenth. I do know Juneteenth. I also think it's a fake holiday and it shouldn't be a holiday. We already have Black History Month. You get a whole month. I know they made it the shortest month of the year, so you're trying to add extra days to make up for it. Maybe that could be argued, you know. But Juneteenth, the day when the last slaves found out they had been freed, that makes sense. Why would he celebrate that? And also, a lot of them didn't even want to be free. So even after Juneteenth, there were still slaves who were willingly slaves because they had a great life. What are you talking about? They're like, Unka Bawa, you see where we come from? We could be in Dirt Hut. Instead, we are here in America. They loved it. They were learning to read the Bible. You Googled Juneteenth. I did not Google. Look at my hands. They're right in front of me. What are you talking about? I have a video on my channel where I went to the Juneteenth parade. I know all about Juneteenth. I'm like a black person expert. Did not Google it. All right, let's watch Russia's Thanksgiving, guys. This is the 25-minute one. We might skip through it a little bit. But we don't got a lot today in the show, so we're gonna dedicate. We always play the Rush. Rush used to read this every year. He wrote a book on it, The True Story of Thanksgiving. What they don't teach you in schools. What they teach you in schools is, well, the indigenous peoples, we loved them and we had to, but then at the same time, apparently we're giving them disease blankets and wiping them off the face of the earth, but yet we were so nice on Thanksgiving. And that's what we'll talk about, the lefties trying to cancel Thanksgiving. That's what my mom says too when I'm like, she's like, I have the day off work for Labor Day. And I'm like, oh, great. You're taking a day off for Commie Day. For Labor Day, you're taking a day off. She's like, I don't care. It's a day off and I get paid. Like, all right. Good argument. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. All right.
The Church of
That's loud in my ears. Is that loud for you guys?
England under King James I was persecuting anyone and everybody who did not recognize the church's absolute civil and spiritual authority, actually the state. Now, those who challenged the ecclesiastical authority and those who believed strongly in freedom of worship were hunted down.
Solo ecclesia. Psh, psh.
It's in England in the 1600s. They were hunted down, they were imprisoned, sometimes executed for what they believed. So a group of separatists, people that didn't want...
Yeah, on Thanksgiving, make sure you go out and thank a Protestant for giving you America. You're welcome.
Want any part of this, fled first to Holland. They liked wooden shoes and cheese. They established a community. They were there for 11 years. After 11 years, about 40 of these separatists who liked wooden shoes and cheese agreed to make a perilous journey to the New World. They had heard about it. Some new exciting place hadn't been developed. They knew that they were going to face hardship. Hardship like you and I don't know. And I'm not preaching to you. I'm just telling you, we don't know the hardship these people endured. We can't. We are way too advanced now. People who lived in the 1600s would not believe life today. Try to explain flight, jet travel. They wouldn't understand it.
Rush is great.
They knew they were facing hardship. But paramount importance to them was living freely and worshiping God according to the dictates of their own consciences, their own beliefs. That's what they were denied the freedom to do in England. So, August...
Why are you screaming in tears? Are you giving birth? The disease blankets definitely happened in Australia, so I'm sure it happened in America as well. Our purpose is not, on purpose or not is the question. No, it's not a question. It wasn't on purpose. We didn't have modern germ theory. We didn't know germs were spread that way yet. So it obviously wasn't on purpose. It's people. We had a bunch of diseases over there from denser populations of people. We had diseases they had never encountered before. And we didn't intentionally bring disease bombs over to give to the natives. That's not a question.
First, 1620. The Mayflower set sail. There were a total of 102 passengers, including 40 of these separatists, the Pilgrims. There were just 40 of them. They were led by a man named William Bradford. Remember his name. On the journey across the Atlantic.
You ain't even black.
You talk about something that had to be frightening and scary. The Mayflower was not much bigger than a 50-foot boat. 102 people on it.
I think only 40 survived.
On the
44.
journey, William Bradford set up an agreement.
Base William Bradford.
A contract, if you will, that established
the Mayflower Compact.
Just and equal laws for all members, all 40 members of this pilgrim community. Didn't matter what their religious beliefs were. These were the laws they were all agreeing to live by. Now, where did these laws, these ideas come from. We're talking about the Mayflower Compact is what Bradford wrote. The Mayflower Compact derived from the Bible. The Pilgrims were a people completely steeped in the Bible, Old and New Testaments. They were a devoutly religious people. No matter what else is said about them, and even that is denied, they were devoutly religious.
No, they were white supremacists.
To the ancient Israelites for much of their example, and because of the biblical precedent set forth in Scripture, they never doubted, because of their faith in God, that their experiment would work. They never doubted they would get to the New World. They never doubted that once they got there, they would thrive. The journey was long. It was arduous. It was dangerous. And when they finally landed, when the Pilgrims finally landed in New England in November.
Kat, we're giving you some culture today. This is Rush Limbaugh. What you know about Rush Limbaugh? You probably don't like Rush, huh?
According to William Bradford's detailed journal, they found a cold, barren, desolate wilderness. Imagine New England, as it exists today, as nothing but...
What did Rush call them female basketball players? What did he call them again?
Rocks, forest, undeveloped nature in November and getting colder. There were no friends to... There was no shelter of any kind other than what, hiding under a tree. There was nothing, folks.
This racist.
It was desolate. There were no hotels. There were no inns. There were no places to clean up. There were no houses. This was real hardship. The sacrifice that they had made for the freedom to worship.
Rush told this story every year on Thanksgiving for how many years? Lots and lots of years.
Was just beginning.
What Rush is saying is racist. What is anything he said that's racist yet? He's talking about history right now. What are you talking about?
During that first winter, remember they arrive in November. During that first winter, half of them, including William Bradford's own wife, died of starvation, of sickness, exposure to the elements. Now we're getting close to what you were taught in school. When spring finally came, and by the way, writing that doesn't do it justice. Spring didn't just finally came. It was a survival. It was an act of survival that you and I cannot possibly relate to or understand. American Special Forces can. Military people who've been trained can understand what the Pilgrims were. You and I can't. We've never done anything like that first winter.
Whatever, I can make it.
In the New World. They survived it. Spring finally came. They did meet the Indians, the Native Americans who were there, who did...
What was hard about being black?
In planting corn and fishing for cod. They showed them where the beavers were so the beavers could be skinned for coats, other things. You animal rights people are not going to like some of this story, but it happened. But even at this, even with this degree of assistance from the Indians and Native Americans, there wasn't any prosperity yet. They had the Mayflower Compact. They had these laws they were living by, but there was no prosperity. And I wonder why. Now, this is important to understand here, folks, because this is where modern American history lessons end, with the Indians teaching the Pilgrims how to eat, how to fish, how to skin beavers and all that. That's where it ends. And that's the feel-good story, but that doesn't even get close to the true story. Thanksgiving is actually explained in some textbooks as a holiday for which the Pilgrims
Guys, we got 14 viewers, only 8 likes. What are you doing? Hit the like button.
gave thanks to the Indians for saving their lives. It wasn't that. That happened, but Thanksgiving was a devout expression of gratitude. The Pilgrims to God for their survival and everything that was a part of it. Now, here's the part that has been omitted. The original contract the Pilgrims entered into in Holland, they had sponsors. They didn't have the money to do this trip on their own. They had sponsors. There were merchant sponsors in London and in Holland. And these merchant sponsors demanded that everything that the Pilgrims produced in the New World would go into a common store, a single bank, if you will. And that each member of the Pilgrim community was entitled to one share. So everybody had
Socialism time.
an equal share of whatever was in that bank.
We tried socialism in America before socialism was a thing for the rest of the world. But this is why, Americans are so smart. We figured out, oh, that doesn't work. That's a bad system of government. Let's change that up a little bit.
All of the land they cleared, all of the houses they built belonged to that bank, to the community as well.
Dang, what were you, a Amish? Be wise. My mother and I had to bust a hole in the ice river for water to heat the stove in the winter. What? Stacking firewood? Dang, Be wise was working. Cat Spectator was out. Oh no, that's so stupid. Be wise is getting buckets of ice from the river. Cat Spectator's out plowing the fields. It was so hard for her growing up in America, racist America. Okay, that's a joke. Let's get back to this video.
And they were going to distribute it equally because they were going to be fair. So all of the land that they cleared.
So we got the common store. We're putting everything in a communal fund. You get your ticket, you get your food.
And all the houses they built belonged to everybody. Belonged to the community, belonged to the bank, belonged to the common store. Nobody owned anything.
No property rights.
They just had an equal share in it. It was a commune. The Pilgrims established a commune, essentially. Forerunner of the communes we saw in the 60s and 70s out in California. They even had their own organic vegetables, by the way. Yep, the Pilgrims, forerunners in organic vegetables. Of course, what else could there be? No such thing as processed anything back then. Now, William Bradford, who had become the governor of the colony because he was the leader, recognized that this wasn't going to work. This was costly and destructive, and it just wasn't working. It was collectivism. It was so
because when you have the ability to not work to earn things because there's a communal fund, a lot of people, it's crazy how many people will choose. They'll use their free will and they'll choose not to work. That's a joke. They'll choose not to work and just to sit back and reap the rewards of the community. It's crazy how many people would choose to do that. You'd be surprised if you're an idiot. No duh, people are going to be lazy if they have the ability to. And then they'll complain, and then they can complain about being depressed.
socialism. It wasn't working. That first winter had taken a lot of lives. The manpower was greatly reduced. So William Bradford decided to take bold action, which I will describe when we get back here. So I want to get back to where we left off. William Bradford, the governor of
Organic, and he describes it as processed. No, he's saying that the food they were growing was organic vegetables because they were straight from the dirt instead of processed and canned foods. Everything was organic back then. Like they didn't have to put organic on a label like they do now. It was all just organic.
of the Pilgrim community saw that none of this was working. The Mayflower Compact was not working. Giving everybody a single share of stock in the common store, in the common bank, was not working. Collectivism. It was as costly and destructive to the Pilgrims as it is and has been to anybody who has ever tried it. So Bradford decided to scrub it. He threw it out and took bold action. He assigned a plot of land to each family. Every family was given a plot of land. They could work it, manage it however they wanted to. If they just wanted to sit on it, get fat, dumb, happy, and lazy, they could. If they wanted to develop it, if they wanted to grow corn, whatever on it, they could. If they wanted to build on it, they could do that. If they wanted to turn it into a quasi-business, they could do whatever they wanted to do with it. He turned loose the power of the capitalist marketplace. Long before Karl Marx was even born, long before Karl Marx was a sperm cell in his father's dreams, the Pilgrims had discovered and experimented with what could only be
Cat, stop spurging. You don't have to type out that you're laughing. Do you like laugh in real life, or do you just laugh through a keyboard with your thumb? Like, you don't have to type out that you're laughing every 2 seconds.
described as socialism, and they found that
He who chops his own wood is warmed twice. That's based. Henry Ford was a commie, but that's based.
didn't work. Now, it wasn't called that then, but that's exactly what it was. Everybody was given an equal share. You know what happened? Nobody did anything. There was no incentive. Nothing worked. Nothing happened. What Bradford and his community found was that the most creative and industrious people had no incentive to work any harder than anybody else did, unless they could utilize the power of personal motivation. But while most of the rest of the world's been experimenting with socialism for over 100 years, longer now, trying to refine it, perfect it, reinvent it.
It doesn't just make the lazy people not work. It makes the hardworking people not work as hard because they're like, why? Regardless of what I do, I only get so much from the food bank. I could work all day and I still get the same amount. Why that guy doesn't work at all? So why am I going to create new cures for diseases and make new technology and, figure out engineering and how to make Why am I going to be the best? If there's no hierarchy, if there's no rewards hierarchy, then there's no hierarchy for work. There's no incentive to work harder. So, and that's what Bradford did. He opened it up. He said, you work harder, you're going to have more. And then we see the Pareto distribution. We see the dominance hierarchy. Boom, instantly. Now, there will still be a dominance hierarchy without capitalism. It's just going to be based off of sheer strength or force. The biggest, strongest guy is going to be able to take what he wants from the other guys, or the government's just going to be able to hold everybody at, I don't know what weapons they would have had back then. I don't know. I think they had boomsticks by that time.
The Pilgrims decided early on to scrap it permanently. What Bradford wrote about this experiment should be in every school child's history lesson. If it were, we might prevent So much suffering. We might have prevented this election if the true story of Thanksgiving had been taught for years and years and years. And I'll tell you what Bradford wrote and how they fixed it when we get a common share of stock in everything that happened that the Pilgrims produced, and it bombed. It didn't work. There was no prosperity. There was no creativity because there was no incentive. Here's what Bradford wrote about the failure. For this community, so far as it was found to breed much confusion and discontent. They were not happy, in other words. This community was found to breed much confusion and discontent and retard much employment that would have been to their benefit and comfort. In other words, nobody worked. The way they set it up killed and discouraged work. There was no need. For young men that were most able and fit for labor and service, sat around and did nothing, should spend their time and strength to work for other men's wives and children without being paid for it. They said, why do that? So they didn't. It was thought to be injustice. Why should you work for other people when you can't work for yourself? What's the point? So you hear what he was saying here, folks? The Pilgrims found that people could not be expected to do their best work without some incentive. So what did they try? What did Bradford's Pilgrim community try next? They unharnessed the power of free enterprise. They invoked capitalism, the principle of private property, all the way back in the 1400s. It was incredible. Every family was assigned its own plot of land, and they could do with it whatever they wanted to do. Bradford wrote, this had very good success, for it made all hands industrious, so as much more corn was planted than otherwise would have been. So when profit was introduced, when the opportunity to prosper was introduced, it went gangbusters. That, my friends, is the essence of the true story of Thanksgiving. This is where it gets really good. If you're laboring under the misconception that I was taught in school, they set up trading posts, they exchanged goods with the Indians after they had enjoyed this prosperity. It was not the Indians that brought them prosperity, and it's not said to insult anybody. The Indians assisted them on their arrival, undeniably. But what led to prosperity for these original settlers was a discovery that the common store failed. Socialism didn't work when they introduced what turns out to be capitalism. They didn't have the name for it, but when they turned loose individual incentive, keep what you produce, sell what you don't need, they went crazy. This is not something they were taught by anybody but self-experience. It was not the Indians. None of this is said to put anybody down. Don't misunderstand. The Indians did a lot of things that helped them, which I'll get to in just a second, but it was their own industriousness. They set up trading posts, they exchanged goods with the Indians, they sold stuff to them. And those profits allowed them to pay off.
Yeah, but they didn't understand trade, some of them. So they'd get pissed off because we'd buy like 40 acres of land for like 10 logs and 6 beaver furs. And they're like, how? Okay. And then a couple months later, they're like, give us our land back. We're like, no, we bought it. What is buy? I do not know.
Off the debts of their sponsors in London and in Holland.
I do not know how.
And you know what? The success of that colony, after they had abandoned socialism and tried what was essentially capitalism, the word spread throughout the old world of this massive amount of prosperity that was there for the taking in the new world. And guess what happened? The new world was flooded with new arrivals. The success and the prosperity of the Plymouth settlement attracted more Europeans and began what came to be known as the Great Puritan Migration. And all it took was prosperity and the word spreading across the Atlantic Ocean of how there was prosperity and it was there for the taking. All you had to do was get there and give it a shot.
And work.
The lesson is, the true story of Thanksgiving is that William Bradford and his pilgrim community were thanking God for the blessings on their community after the first miserable winter of a documented failure brought on by their attempt at fairness and equality, which was socialism. It didn't work. Only when they abandoned it did it work. And I need to say again, because I don't want people to be misunderstood, get noses out of joint. The Native Americans, the indigenous peoples, the Injuns, whatever you want to call them, they were of considerable assistance, and they were friendly when the Pilgrims arrived. But they had little, if anything, to do with the prosperity that occurred, because that was the result of Bradford and the Pilgrim leadership deciding to change their structure according to the Mayflower Compact. Now, the Indians assisted, naturally, I can't deny it. I mean, they taught them how to fish and this kind of thing that they didn't know how to do, and that led them to be productive, undeniable.
I don't understand how they didn't know how to fish. How do you not know how to fish? You were just on a boat for months. Then what, they don't got water in Holland? How do you not know how to fish? I don't even get that. Like, they taught them how to fish, maybe taught them how to fish for a new type of fish, but some of these people should have known how to fish. They didn't have fishing poles in Holland and England. In the ocean, on the boat, they didn't take no fishing poles. Somehow, I don't believe that. I think all they did is, like, if you've been saltwater fishing your whole life, and then you go trout fishing for the first time, you may not know what bait to use. You may not know how to work your pole, so you might tap a guy who's fishing on the same lake and be like, "Hey, what do you use out here?" He's like, "Oh, use a fly, just let it glide across the water. That's how you get the trout, or this is how you get a river fish, like a dang, what's the one, why am I drawing a blank? What's the ones the bears eat that they jump at? Salmon. A salmon. So they see these Indians that are fishing, and they're like, "Man, how do we catch these fish?" They would have figured out how to catch the fish eventually. Somebody's got to know how to fish. You're not telling me the white man did not know how to fish. I'm not making a joke. I don't believe that they really taught them how to fish. I believe they taught them what bait works best for the specific fish in that area, which, if you know how to fish, eventually you'll figure it out. I think that's what he meant about teaching how to fish. They taught them a different way to fish. Yeah, but some people blow it out of proportion. Like the Pilgrims had no idea what fishing was. It's like, yeah, I think they did.
So, but it was the Pilgrim community itself which experienced this massive prosperity, the word of which spread all the way back to the Old World, Europe, across the Atlantic Ocean. Now, I mentioned earlier that the Federalist has a story on all this. And in it, they describe much of what we did in the second book that dealt with this, the children's book, Rush Revere and the Brave Pilgrims. And that book goes into great detail about how the Indians did provide assistance and what kind of assistance it was, how valuable it was, and how crucial it was. And in Rush Revere and the Brave Pilgrims, we focus on a Native American by the name of Squanto. Now, as I told you, during that first winter, 1620, only 44 of the original 102 pilgrims survived.
It was 44. I got it.
They had an elected governor by the name of John Carver.
I am good with numbers sometimes. See?
And it was an Indian by the name of Squanto who came to their rescue.
Shout out Squanto.
And
Squanto
this
was
is,
based.
as I say,
Rebecca was
explored in
based.
great detail in Rush Revere and the Brave Pilgrims. Now, Squanto was no ordinary native. Early settlers in 1610 captured him and sold him into slavery. A group of Catholic friars ended up freeing him, brought him to England, where he learned to speak English. In 1618, served.
Bro, a lot of these people that hate like the evil white man and the evil Christian, if it wasn't for this watershed moment in history when we started coming to America, then all of the black people in America that are Christian now, they would have never found the Bible. Well, eventually maybe they would have, but not likely. All these Indians, Squanto was based. Rebecca, Pocahontas, they converted to Christianity. They're like, this is a great, you guys seem like you're doing pretty well. Look how fast you've prospered. You've built houses. We don't even know what a house is. This is awesome. What gives you guys the power to do this? And they say, our Father, our Creator, God, we're going to teach you about this. You should celebrate that on Juneteenth. You should celebrate coming to America, the greatest land on earth, where you got taught to read the Bible. You got converted to Christianity. Let's go.
Serving as an interpreter on an English ship, he was brought back to the New World. It was Squanto, who is a famous Native American in his own right in the Pilgrim story. It was Squanto who taught the Pilgrims how to plant, how to fish, how to skin beavers. It was Squanto who brokered a peace treaty between the Pilgrims and other Indian tribes. There was more than one tribe of Indians. It was not copacetic. It was not friendly and at one with nature. It was not anything like the multiculturalists would have you believe. There were squads.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? No. They were eating each other.
There were power struggles, turf battles. It was human. The Indians, the Pilgrims, everybody was scrambling for power, for survival. Survivability was the name of the game, and it was not guaranteed. Now, many of the Pilgrims literally believed that God had sent Squanto to save them. And they believe, Pilgrims believe, that without Squanto, they never would have survived or thrived. And they experienced a tremendous harvest in 1621, and that's the big gathering that is taught in the history books. The native Indians and the Pilgrims joined together for a huge feast, which is the foundational story of the Thanksgiving story that's taught in public schools. But again, that is not the real story of Thanksgiving. That's the textbook brain. It did happen, but it's so much more than that. And I love taking the opportunity every year to explain the truth, especially now, given how this election has apparently, allegedly fallen out. Because even as the Federalist side, this is so great that the story is spreading. One of the most important.
I think this was 2021 or 2020. This is Thanksgiving 2020. So this is right after Trump lost to Biden. Rush was not happy. Rush would be happy. Rush is smiling down from heaven right now. Because Trump's back, baby. Wow. Wow. Thank you, Rush. That was great. I love the Thanksgiving story from Rush. Sad he's not here to. We'll keep the memory alive. We'll keep doing the Thanksgiving um, story every year. One more thing on Thanksgiving. We had to get one of these in here. Actually, I think I got a couple. Oh yeah, I got like 3 articles. Campus reform: leftists ditch Thanksgiving with conservative relatives. Campus reform student spokesperson Emily Sturge joined Fox Across America's Paul Gleiser to discuss leftist students' vows to boycott Thanksgiving meals with relatives who voted for Donald Trump. Let's go. That's all we had to do this whole time to get you out of our house for Thanksgiving is just vote for the other person? Dang. I'm not going to Thanksgiving with the family. I'm going to Christmas with the family this year. And they don't even do like big feasts, my family, anymore. Like we did when we were kids, when we was kids. They just go out somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. I'm getting there Christmas Eve. So we won't have time to go shopping and get a ham so I could cook Christmas meal. What up, Goon? A Yale psychiatrist suggested that leftists ditch Thanksgiving and the holidays with family members who voted for Trump. And members of my generation are buying into this nonsense, Sturge said. They can't stand to be around their Trump-supporting family members. I don't know. The turkey's not vegan. Grandma's house isn't a safe space. So Gen Z is saying that they're ditching it. That's funny. The Federalist, a guide to surviving your miserable leftist guests at Thanksgiving dinner. So the ones who do show up, the Federalist is telling them how to survive it. Major publications each year publish those insipid how to handle your racist uncle during the holidays articles. They're absolutely useless because nobody in America has a racist uncle. And if they do, they aren't actually worried about him. But here's something most of Americans almost certainly do have: a miserable left-wing relative or close family friend who shows up at least once a year to make everyone uncomfortable. Based. The discomfort these guests impose has a range. It can be so subtle the victims aren't even sure what's causing it. Yeah. We all know the lefty. With caution, engage the conversation. Invite them to relax, cheer up, and share in the joy of seeing. Yeah, the best trick to calm down a lefty who's angry is to say, smile, honey. Cheer up, calm down. Yeah, that always works with crazy lefty women. What up? Are you crazy? It's time to make your own family, Jazz. Join the ranks and get to making some friends for my kids to play with. It's easier said than done, B-Wise. It's easier said than done. It's hard out here in these streets for a 37-year-old single man. It's hard out here in these streets, B-Wise. I gotta find a youngin' because the chicks my age got like 3 kids already and their ovaries are blown out. We gotta look for the young ones. Okay. Last thing from Fox: Thanksgiving canceled. Liberals who say America's holiday promotes genocide and white supremacy. A green bean casserole recipe on the website Eater this week carried a warning for readers about the pilgrims. Whoa. So wait. So don't be Googling how to get a green bean casserole recipe. Just watch one of my videos or ask me. I'll give you my green bean casserole recipe. Or just get yourself some French's onion straws and it's on the back. The recipe is on the back of the thing. But if you go to Google for your green bean casserole, you might be greeted with a warning about how Thanksgiving is for white supremacists and that the pilgrims did a genocide on the Indians. 44 pilgrims wiped out all of the Indians. All of them. Liberal pundits and news out racism isn't real, cat spectator. Quit crying. Liberal pundits and news outlets across the country are using Thanksgiving week to disparage the holiday and label it a function of white supremacy and genocide. What is Thanksgiving to indigenous people? A day of mourning. A USA Today headline on Tuesday said, bullshit. They're drinking. Accompanied by an article that claimed many Americans believe the holiday represents the dark shadow of genocide. Dun, dun, dun. Do you have black people? Do I have black people? I got a new gun today. Early Christmas present for me today. Nice. I don't know if ovaries work that way. Nah, they do. They do work that way. Fertility, usually 30 to 35. We've looked this up, Amanda. The average girl nowadays, like 30 to 35, them things are drying up. Things been bashed in. Things are. They do work that way. It's a thing. Girls getting their dang ovaries blown out by the time they're 35. Facts. Women be crazy. It's true. That is true. That's a thing. I'm not just making that up. A weather service currently posted an article Tuesday suggesting that Americans who celebrate Thanksgiving are hurting the Native American community. I don't need the weather station to be encroaching on my holiday with their social agenda. Don't you know that if Josh looks at a woman, she can something might happen to her. But I don't know about that. Duh. On MSNBC over the weekend, Gayasi Ross, who is Native American, explained a segment that white people have created a fake story around pilgrims, around Thanksgiving, and that the pilgrims are responsible for a system of white supremacy that is used to carry out state-sponsored violence against black people to this day. What? What is this? Instead of bringing stuffing and biscuits, those settlers brought genocide and violence. Damn.
With Thanksgiving right around the corner, I wanted to turn the mic over to Cross Connection favorite and my friend Yassi Ross.
Oh, look, a diversified newscast. A bunch of women of color. So diverse.
This week's essay and his take on the real story of Thanksgiving and some history you probably never read in your school books.
Okay.
Here comes the revisionist history. So we got one side of history that we don't see in our school books from Rush. Now we're going to get the other side of history we don't see in our school books about the white supremacy and the genocide. You see how fair and balanced I am? Guys, I'm giving both sides. What do you mean I'm racist, Cat? Look at this. Look how fair and balanced my show is.
Nadanako Umakumsaka. My name is Jossie Ross. I come from the Amskapi Pukani Nation. The mythology of Thanksgiving closely mirrors the mythology of America. That mythology is the image that white Americans love to see of themselves. Whites.
You plan on having another in your 34? I don't know. You better freeze some eggs up, Amanda. You better put some of them eggs in the freezer. Actually, I don't really agree with that. I don't think that's a moral thing to do. Watermelon at Thanksgiving? Why not? Especially if you black.
Settlers come to a strange land in good faith, bringing something of great value that enriches the people who are already here. The natives also bring something of immense value, equal exchange. That closely mimics the mythology of white America. It is how America wants to see itself. The truth, of course, of Thanksgiving is much different. The truth is pilgrims did not bring turkey, sweet potato pie, or cranberries to Thanksgiving. They could not. They were broke. They were broken. Their hands were out. They were begging. They brought nothing of value.
Look how angry this guy sounds compared to how peaceful and loving Rush sounded. Like Rush was telling a story with pride and with love, you know? This guy needs to forgive his mama he sounds like a little bitch.
But they got fed. They got schooled. Thanksgiving. It makes sense. There is much for white Americans to be thankful for. But I'm still trying to figure out what indigenous people received of value.
Casinos, freaking liquor stores, reservations where they can do whatever weird rituals that they want. What are you talking about?
Instead of bringing stuffing and biscuits, those settlers brought genocide and violence. That genocide and violence is still on the menu, as state-sponsored violence against Native and Black Americans is commonplace, and violent private white supremacy is celebrated and subsidized. From Stone Child Chief Stick to Mike Brown to Renee Davis to Breonna.
Oh my God. And Trump is president, guys. So if you're celebrating a Trump Thanksgiving, then you're basically in the KKK. Just saying.
Taylor to Eric Gardner, indigenous and Black people are still being murdered by those paid to protect us.
Oh, I was thinking about this also, guys. Now that Trump's back in office, get ready. We're going to see the return of BLM. We're going to see the return of police brutality. We're going to see the return of Antifa. We're going to see the uprising again of the LGBT low IQ STD people, the letter people. We're going to see it's coming back, guys. It was kind of dwindling. All this stuff was dwindling probably because everybody was miserable and starving. We had to figure out we had to go to work and figure out how to feed our families again. But once Trump comes in and we get a little bit more comfortable, watch. It's all coming back. It's all coming back to us now. Antifa, BLM, and the transgender community, all coming back to us now.
From Ahmaud Arbery to Trayvon Martin, white Americans are still killing Native and Black Americans with no fear of reprisal.
What does this got to do with
chattel slavery to Africa?
What the fuck does this have to do with Thanksgiving? What are you talking about, bruh?
Africans and Native people. That still happens through the prison industrial complex that imprisons the descendants of enslaved Africans and Natives at far disparate numbers.
Hey, come and get it, cat. I ain't scared. Come and get it. Who's serving the ass whooping? I don't see him. You talking to me? Are you talking to me? You must be talking to me. I don't see anybody else here. Let's go.
That is the reality of Thanksgiving. Many of us are still waiting for white Americans to bring some value, still waiting for white America to match the mythology of Thanksgiving.
Oh, is that real? Let's go. Shout out Trump. Removing a few thousand from service, I think. Also, I saw that the general or something, like one of the generals that was involved with Afghanistan pullout was supposed to get promoted recently, and Trump sent a letter that said, like, don't promote him. And he didn't get promoted. I sent a letter that said, don't promote him. And guess, son of a bitch, they didn't promote him. That's Trump doing Biden. Quid pro quo. You didn't know what? God, come on, cat. Come on, cat. Let's wake up. Wake up, cat. Wake up. Go watch my YouTube videos. I have videos that I've done on Juneteenth. Go watch them.
Freedom, justice, equality, reparations for 2.5 billion acres.
What are you
of stolen
talking
native
about?
Land. Reparations.
How long is this? Is this guy still talking? What are you talking about? I think it's almost over.
For 246 years of stolen labor, reparations for stealing Native children. Stop the killing. It's still happening.
We stealing the children? Are we giving Diddy reparations? Who's stealing the children?
Stop the theft. It's still happening. Return the land. Match the mythology. Then and only then we can all be equally thankful. Peace.
If you don't like my opinions on Juneteenth, cat, you'll hate my opinions on Kwanzaa. Wait till Christmas time this year, cat. We always do a Kwanzaa show. I love talking about Milana Karanga. I love talking about old Ronnie. We're going to learn all about Ronnie, just like we do every year. Wait till you find out what I think about Kwanzaa. All right, let's move on. Thanksgiving's coming up. Yeah, there's no such thing as racism. We all know that. Everybody knows that. Yeah, no such thing as racism. Racism is a word dumb people use to control other dumb people. We don't use that word around here. It's a bad word. It's a bad word. All right. Let's move on. COP29 climate conference. You know, we've talked about Agenda 31, Agenda 2020. We've talked about Agenda 47. We've talked about Project 2025. Now we're going to talk about COP29, the new kid on the block. I don't actually know how long they've been doing this, but I've never heard of COP29, and I've been doing this show for 3 years. But it happened in Azerbaijan this week. It's a climate conference, a global climate conference, and basically they talk about the carbon emissions. How can we control people more, make more money off of control and restriction of autonomy, and increased surveillance and increased control, and blame it all on carbon footprints, which is basically life. Carbon is life. So let's restrict life, blame it on the carbon footprint, and charge people for their carbon emissions, which is their life. You know, I don't sell my dudes. And what are you guys talking about? Juneteenth is when Union soldiers went to Texas to inform the Texas slaves were freed. Yeah, it's a dumb holiday. It's not even the day. We already have a holiday for when slavery ended, and there's Black History Month. Why do we also need a holiday for when the last slaves found out that they were already freed? We've already covered this, Cat. Stop. Who cares? It's Thanksgiving. It's not Juneteenth. Nobody cares about Juneteenth. We're talking about COP29. Let's watch this from the AP, a little recap, everything you need to know in a minute, apparently, with a very soothing voice telling us about it.
Nations from around the world reached an agreement on how rich countries can cough up the funds to support poor countries in the face of climate change in the early hours Sunday at COP29.
Bullshit. Sorry, guys, I'm allergic to bullshit. How rich companies can... I like the way that AP put that, because that is, well, how rich countries can cough up the funds, can foot the bill for poor countries in the face of climate change. Anthropogenic climate change. Anthropogenic means man-made. Man-made climate change, which we actually don't have evidence for. But rich countries, and I'm sure they're going to mention it in this video, but the bottom line here is COP29 is an agenda that by the year 2029, or I think it's actually like 2035. I think this basically just runs right alongside Agenda 2020 and Agenda 31. What was the one I said a minute ago? I forget. But these climate change initiatives, 300 billion is what the rich companies are going to spend 300 billion a year, but that number's supposed to gradually increase, which is what the plan COP29 was put there to do, is that number should gradually increase, because we need to be, the goal is by 2029, 2035, whenever. The goal is 1.5 trillion annually from the richest companies to the poorest I keep saying countries to the poorest countries, to save them from climate change. God bless you, Deaz. Darn, those allergies catching up again, I see. Yeah, from all the bullshit. 1.5 trillion is the goal. We're starting at 300 billion, and all of these poor countries like India are pissed because they say we're not doing enough. Even though India is the dirtiest country, the most populated country, but also the poorest country, all the Western world needs to foot that bill to save their climate.
29, but it's not a perfect arrangement and many parties are still unsatisfied. Rich countries have agreed to pool together at least $300 billion a year by 2035. It's not near the full amount of $1.3 trillion that developing countries were asking for and that experts say was needed. But some delegations said this deal is headed in the right direction with hopes that more money flows in the future. Election results around the world that herald a change in climate leadership, a few key players with motive to stall the talks, and what some...
Oh, is she talking about Donald Trump? I think she's talking about Trump. He who must not be named. How you not going to name drop Trump in that one?
Called a disorganized host country, all led to a final crunch that one expert called a flawed compromise. Activists and experts expressed concern that the agreement lets rich countries off the hook for their role in the climate disasters that are hurting communities around the world.
Why is it our job to pay for India's climate change? Why is it our responsibility when America's already cleaning its air more rapidly than any other country? If this is really such a problem, each country should just worry about their own climate. It's so dumb. Why do we need to pay for India's climate change?
World. And members of some developing countries...
I also would like to see what percentage of that $300 billion comes from America. So I bet you we're the biggest percentage of it. Now, they'll say that's because we have the biggest population, we have the highest GDP, et cetera, even though we don't. But, well, we might have the biggest population, but I bet you America's paying the majority of that bill. Even if other countries are paying it, we're probably paying those countries like protection and their military and things like that. So we're paying for their other things so they're able to pay their climate change bill more easily. We got to save the world from climate change, guys.
Countries said that the number doesn't begin to match their need, and they expressed anger and disappointment at the deal.
Yeah, you guys cut it out. Get that drama out of here, cat. Don't talk to man. Man, don't talk to cat. I gotta split up the children. You guys need to go to timeout. Don't make me put you in timeout. Put both of you in timeout, to be fair. Because I don't know who started it. Probably cat, though. Hey, quit calling him a pervert. Don't. That word is emotionally charged and yeah, it's kind of like you're me tooing him. Cut it out. Cat. Save this drama for your mama. All right. So COP29, let's read it. Let's read from Forbes. Developing nations and nonprofits reject disaster COP29 climate deal. Branded a disaster because the disaster is because it's not enough money. That's why they're saying that it's not enough money. Yes, massa. Yes, massa. Branded a disaster, climate conference ended in chaos and anger in the early hours of Sunday morning as wealthy countries delivered a deal on finance that was roundly rejected by key developing nations. Developing nations is liberal code language for shithole countries. That's what whenever you hear developing nations, I want you to just think shithole countries, okay? So you know what? I'll just do it for you. Let's read this again. Ended in chaos and anger in early hours of Sunday morning as wealthy countries delivered a deal on finance that was roundly rejected by key shithole countries. In the final text of an agreement hashed out at the conference in Baku, Azerbaijan, wealthy nations agreed to deliver $300 billion in climate aid for shithole countries by 2035 from a wide variety of sources, public and private, bilateral and multilateral, including alternative sources. But shithole countries, which have done the least to cause climate change but suffer the most from its consequences, had called on their rich counterparts to deliver at least 1.3 trillion in no strings attached grants to help them deal with climate impacts. In a stunning historical blow for the UN's key climate event, India rejected the deal, with Representatives Shandni Raina stating it had been gavelled through without the country's approval. This, in our opinion, will not address the enormity of the challenge we all face. Therefore, we oppose the adoption of this document, Raina said. So far, Nigeria, Malawi, and Bolivia are known to have joined India in rejecting the COP outcome. With Nigeria branding the deal a joke, Ralph Rivanavada, envoy for a small island nation, Vanuatu, stated the dollar amounts pledged and the emissions reductions promised are not enough. They were never going to be enough. And even then, based on our experience with such pledges in the past, we know that they're... Also, why is India even included in this? India... They're saying that poorer countries aren't developing nations. Developing nations that are poor aren't really putting out a lot of climate emissions, but they're affected from the bigger, richer nations' climate emissions. So the bigger richer nations who are putting out more climate emissions that harmfully affect them and their development, we need to pay them to clean up their air and get more developed. But India puts out the most climate emissions. And what's India's GP globally? Like, India's not, it's probably low. India GDP versus world. India holds the position of the 5th largest economy globally. So what is India bitching about? You are one of the big countries. You are the 5th largest global economy. Why do you not have to pay for your own climate change? Why are you bitching to America and the Western world? You have the 5th largest economy globally. But people are still pooping in the streets. So you're just a shithole country. India. That's what it sounds like. I'm not saying the Indian people are all bad. I'm just saying the Indian government is obviously not running their country very well. Why do we need to foot the bill for India? Maybe Nigeria has more of a complaint. Who else we got? Global South have condemned the COP deal. The Climate Action Network, which represents more than 1,900 organizations, over 130 companies, framed the outcome as a betrayal, with CAN Executive Director Trasneem Essop saying this has been the most horrendous climate negotiations in years due to a bad faith of developed countries. This was of developed countries, of not shithole countries. This was meant to be finance COP, but the global north turned up with a plan to betray the global south. The global north. So that's what's going on with COP. World agrees from CNN. World agrees to climate deal on financial aid for developing for shithole countries after summit nearly implodes. Every time I say shithole countries, it says developing countries. That's the code word they use. The world agreed to a new climate deal at COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan, Saturday, with wealthy countries pledging $300 billion annually by 2035 to poorer countries to help them cope with the increasingly catastrophic impacts of the climate crisis. A figure many shithole countries criticize as vastly insufficient. So let's see what India's saying, and then we'll read 5 key takeaways. What do they talk about in India?
Disappointed. We are extremely, extremely disappointed.
Developing nations slammed a global climate financing deal as woefully insufficient as delegates at the COP29.
She said it. It's shithole countries, lady. Somebody needs to tell her This is Trump's America. We don't call them developing nations anymore.
Summit in Baku adopted a $300 billion annual target on Sunday to help them deal with impacts of climate change.
I regret to say that this document is nothing more than an optical illusion. This, in our opinion, will not address the enormity of the challenge we all face.
The agreement was clinched in overtime at the two-week conference in Azerbaijan's capital. It commits rich countries to providing $300 billion a year by 2035 in climate financing.
Yes.
That's a boost from the previous deal of $100 billion annually by 2020. That earlier goal was met 2 years late in 2022 and expires next year.
Wait, was she just talking about Agenda 2020?
United Nations climate chief Simon Steele hailed the agreement as one that would keep the clean energy boom growing and urged developed nations to keep their promises this time.
It has been a difficult journey, but we've
Journey.
delivered a deal.
A deal.
This new finance goal is an insurance policy for humanity amid worsening climate impacts
Where's
hitting
Trump?
every country. But like any insurance policy, it only works if premiums are paid in full and on time.
The summit cut to the heart of the debate over the financial responsibility of industrialized countries to compensate others for worsening damage from climate change after their historic use of fossil fuels caused the bulk of greenhouse gas emissions. It also laid
That's bullshit. You don't know that.
bare divisions between developing nations reeling from costs of storms, floods and droughts, and wealthy governments facing tight domestic budgets and surging geopolitical tensions.
And yet we do feel that the result of today is actually exceptionally important. We are living in a time of truly challenging geopolitics, and we should simply not have the illusion that it will soon get better.
Negotiations had been due to finish on Friday.
Who's in there coughing? Somebody was coughing up a stone.
But ran into overtime as representatives from nearly 200 countries struggled to reach consensus. Some developing countries and island nations walked out briefly in frustration on Saturday. The final deal also failed to set out detailed steps for how countries will act on last year's
You need to give us more money. We need all of your money. It's ridiculous. All right, enough of this. Enough of this. It's almost 8. Enough COP29. We get it. I want to look a little bit into this Laken Riley. The trial happened this week. It was a quick trial. Not a lot of deliberation. So in case you don't remember, little background, just reading from Wikipedia here. On February 22nd, 2024, Laken Riley, a 22-year-old Augusta University nursing student, was murdered while she was jogging at the University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia. Her body was found in the Oconee Forest Park near Lake Herrick. Her death was caused by blunt force trauma and asphyxiation. The perpetrator, Jose Antonio Ibarra, well, that guy sounds like, I'm sure he was celebrating Thanksgiving if he wasn't in prison right now. A 26-year-old Venezuelan who had entered the United States illegally. This is interesting, actually. I had not heard of Tren de Aragua or Aragua, Aquafina. I hadn't heard of that until the show we did a couple months ago with the apartment complexes. But really, they've been coming in for a minute. This all ties back to when Venezuela was emptying out its prisons and its insane asylums. These guys are all over America now. And they're like one of the most violent cartel type gangs. Venezuelan. Some Waylands. We got some Waylands down here. So, and this guy was Tren de Aragua. Am I saying that? C-style? Aragua. But anyway, he got her. He took her. He killed her. I don't know if he raped her, but he beat her and she lived for 18 minutes. She was wearing a watch that monitored her heart rate. And from the time the incident started to the time the watch said her heart stopped was 18 minutes she was fighting this guy off. But anyway, he's a 26-year-old Venezuelan who entered the United States illegally. He was arrested by UGA police and was charged with 10 charges, including felony murder, malice murder, false imprisonment, aggravated assault with intent to grape, and kidnapping. Ibarra was found guilty on all charges and sentenced to life in prison. Well, spoiler alert. So the trial happened this week. He was sentenced. It was quick. He got life in prison without the possibility of parole. And a lot of people were mad that they didn't get that he didn't get the death penalty. I don't know if they have the death penalty in Georgia, but he didn't get the death penalty. What up, John? But anyway, a lot of things came out in the trial, and it was convenient that they pushed this trial back to after the elections, because a lot of things came out in this trial that seemed to implicate the Biden administration and Kamala's border management in this murder. And there's many other examples of the same exact thing happening all over the country. So we'll talk about Jose Antonio Ibarra in a moment and how he got here. And then we'll look at some other interesting reports about why he possibly didn't get the death sentence. And before we do all that, let's take a look at Laken's mom. I haven't watched this yet. I watched her dad last night in court, a little bit from the trial. Let's watch her mom talking here.
And the defense counsel has agreed that there's no need to swear the witnesses for the statement. You could come over here, Ms. Phillips. So before the court, Your Honor, first will be Allison Phillips, and she's Laken's mom. Behind her is her husband and Laken's stepfather, John Phillips, and then their daughter, Laken's sister, Lauren.
I haven't heard this yet. This is from 11 Alive, by the way.
Your Honor, on February 22nd of 2024, our family and friends were given a life sentence without a chance of parole. Jose Ibarra took no pity on my scared, panicked, and struggling child. There is no end to the pain, suffering, and loss that we have experienced or will continue to endure. On that horrific day, my precious daughter was attacked, beaten, and...
Look at this scumbag just sitting over here. Like, oh, I got better things to do, man. Are you sending me to prison or what? I don't want to be in the courtroom. God, see, something like this, I don't know, makes me kind of pro death penalty.
Shown no mercy. She fought for her life and dignity and to save herself from being brutally raped. This sick, twisted, and evil coward showed no regard for Laken or human life. We are asking that same be done to him. Laken had a beautiful and bright future. She was smart, hardworking, kind, thoughtful, and most importantly, she was a child of God. She had a personal relationship with Jesus, and she loved being the hands and feet of his hands and feet in this world. She shared her love for our Lord with others through her mission trips, working with elderly at the nursing homes, and through her nursing career. Laken was an amazing friend, sister,
like a good girl,
niece, daughter, and granddaughter. Anyone who knew her knew about her loving heart. Laken's life was not the only life taken on that day that Jose Ibarra attacked her. The life of her family and friends was taken too. None of us will ever be the same. This monster took away our chances to see Laken graduate from nursing school. He took away our ability to meet our future son-in-law.
What's messed up, and what we're gonna see. I think I had the clip. I had to just get the clip from Matt Walsh's video, but we can't even do our court proceedings in English anymore. This guy doesn't understand anything she's saying right now. Like, this is falling on deaf ears. He's not even listening. He's like, I wonder if it's Taco Tuesday in the prison. Some BS.
He destroyed our chances of meeting our grandchildren, and he took my best friend. He ripped away every beautiful memory we will ever be able to make with her again. This horrific individual.
Well, I know that. Okay, yeah, there's a translator there. He ain't trying to hear that translator.
Robbed us all of our hopes and dreams for Laken. Your Honor, I'm asking you to please give Jose Ibarra the same thing he gave us when he made the choice to take Laken's life and destroy ours.
She's not going to ask for the death penalty.
He showed no mercy on Laken when she was begging for her life. There's no end to the pain and suffering that he inflicted on our family and our friends. I'm asking you to please give this monster life without any chance of parole so that he never gets the chance to hurt anyone else ever again.
Well, he can hurt people in prison. So see, the mom didn't even ask for the death penalty. It's a tough thing. Like, even I bounce around on the fence of the death penalty. It's a tough one. I see both sides of the argument. And there's good arguments for both sides. But I think in some situations, I got to be pro-death penalty. Like, we just got to, God forgives. It's just my job to set up a meeting type of thing. It's just our job to set up a meeting. They didn't ask for the death penalty because the district attorney took it off the table before the trial started. Really? I don't have that article. Now, I do have another article. Two articles relating to the sentencing. So this is from Yahoo News referencing an MSNBC article. MSNBC alters sickening Laken Riley killer headline after outrage online. MSNBC on Friday changed its headline to a story on Laken Riley, the 22-year-old Georgia nursing student who was murdered by an illegal immigrant earlier this year after it was met with widespread outrage on X. The initial headline to the opinion piece, written by legal analyst Danny Savalos, I wonder where Danny's from, this is what the headline from MSNBC said. Laken Riley's killer never stood a chance. Meaning he never stood a chance to get anything other than life in prison. Like, it was already a foregone conclusion that he was going to get life in prison. Probably because he murdered a girl. And MSNBC says he never stood a chance. Like he should have got off. And there's more to that. Like, it wasn't just this one time with this MSNBC headline. The president, Joe Biden, did this. I think Matt Walsh has it in his video. Let me see if I can go through this video and
Medina
scan and see if I can find the clips of Biden saying it. But first off, remember I think it was the State of the Union address, Marjorie Taylor Greene was in the audience, and she yells, "What about Laken Riley? Say her name, Laken Riley." Because, which is a good play, because you know how when the BLM things are happening, it was say his name, I can't breathe, say his name. So, but Joe Biden, the State of the Union address happened right after this, And Joe Biden's talking about immigration, and he's not even mentioning it. And Marjorie Taylor Greene yells out, say her name, say her name. And he says her name wrong. And he's like, Lincoln Riley? Yeah, that's bad that happened. Whatever. She got killed by he said, like, an illegal immigrant. And then they had him on a show or a press conference or something later. And they're like, did you call him an illegal immigrant? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I should have said, what do they call him? Some stupid ass new freaking colloquialism. We can't call him illegal. I shouldn't have called. He apologized to the killer for calling him an illegal immigrant days after Laken Riley was murdered. So it wasn't just MSNBC with a deceptive headline that they had to change. It was also the president. What was more important was the fact that this guy was illegal, not the fact, well, of how he got here and that he murdered somebody and he was illegal. We have to apologize for calling him illegal. We're going to get to how he got here in a second. We have one more thing about the sentencing, but let me play this from Joe Biden. I stole this from Matt Walsh's video.
Lincoln Riley. And then
Lincoln Riley. He doesn't even know her name. He's got a little badge that he holds up.
innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right.
You use the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
Undocumented. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have called him illegal. He was undocumented, the man that allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented.
So you're apologizing for calling him an illegal. Before we talk about how he got here, which is what this is all about, how Biden and Kamala are implicated in the death of Laken Riley. Before we get to that, from Fox, Soros backs prosecutor under fire over death penalty decision for Laken Riley's killer. So this is probably why the death penalty was taken off the table by the prosecutor before the trial even started. It was a Soros-backed prosecutor. We're talking about Georgia. This is Athens. This is near Atlanta. When a Georgia judge convicted Jose Ibarra, Laken Riley's killer, on 10 counts and sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole, politicians and pundits across the country expressed frustration that he was not sentenced to death. Over a nearly 4-day trial, prosecutor Sheila Ross brought 29 witnesses to the stand to prove that Ibarra brutally attacked and killed Riley, a 22-year-old Augusta University nursing student. I've been to Augusta University. I have some stories from Augusta. Nursing student who was jogging on the University of Georgia campus by bashing her head with large rocks and possibly strangling her. But Georgia Western Judicial Circuit District Attorney Deborah Gonzalez decided not to pursue the death penalty against Ibarra in May, about 3 months after Riley's murder, saying in a May 31st press release that the decision to seek life without the possibility of parole instead of death was reached after careful deliberation with the senior prosecutor and the support of the victim's family. So, maybe the family is just against the death penalty. I wouldn't be surprised by that. But also, the prosecutor is a Soros-backed prosecutor. Our utmost duty is to ensure that justice is served and that the victim's family is an integral part of the deliberation process, Gonzalez said in a statement at the time. We understand that there will be those outside the office who will disagree with our decision and seek to exploit this case for political gain. However, the integrity of our judicial process and the pursuit of justice must always transcend political considerations. Fox News contributor, former criminal and civil attorney Ted Williams, who also worked as homicide detective in Washington, D.C., called the Gonzalez decision absolutely outrageous. This person should burn her bar card, Williams said. Each case in this case should have been ruled, and a decision on the death penalty should have been made on the merits. This is friggin' outrageous. He added, capital punishment is left to the discretion of the local prosecutor under Georgia law. A prosecutor should make a decision on whether to seek the death penalty on how egregious and violent the murder was. Political leanings should never factor into that decision. Sadly, prosecutor Deborah Gonzalez, a woman named Gonzalez, failed Laken Riley in death by not seeking the death penalty against Jose Ibarra. If there was ever a case that called for the death penalty, it was this case. And shocker, Deborah Gonzalez is a Soros-backed prosecutor. Shocker. So how did this guy get here? Well, we have some clips from his trial here. Let's find out about how he was bussed into America to New York, put up in the Roosevelt Hotel, which we've reported on before. People have reported on, and I've analyzed the news. I guess I've reported on it too. But the Roosevelt Hotel got put up there. Tren de Araguan gang member bussed into New York and then bussed into Atlanta from New York. Paid for, put up in a hotel that used to be a nice hotel. Let's watch.
To know that you lived with while you were here in Athens.
Alguien más que llegaste a conocer, que vivió con.
Actually transporting the murderer to the place where he committed the crime. Watch.
Someone else that you got to know that you lived with while you were here in Athens.
Who cares how he got here? You should care. If our government has a border wide open and gang members are coming into the country and we're busing them to New York, giving them a food card and a hotel to stay in until we move them to another city, yeah, that's a problem, especially when it's a swing state and you're trying to affect the census, to affect the electorals and affect the seats in government, to affect an election by pumping the country with violent illegal immigrants. And our government is doing this. Yeah, that's a problem, Kat. That affects all of us.
Alguien más que llegaste a conocer, que vivió con ustedes aquí en Athens.
Giancarlo Hernández.
Giancarlos Hernández.
And how did you get to Athens?
¿Y cómo llegaron a Athens?
En Nueva York pedimos en Manhattan.
So she asked, where were you staying before? He said the Roosevelt Hotel in New York. And then how did you get to Athens?
In New York, we asked in Manhattan.
En el Hotel Roosevelt.
And Hotel Roosevelt.
De Manhattan pedimos un vuelo humanitario aquí hasta Atlanta.
In Manhattan, we requested for a humanitarian flight to come here to Atlanta.
That's your FEMA money. That's your humanitarian aid, is to fly illegal immigrants from a hotel all around the country to swing states. That's where your hurricane relief money goes.
And when was that?
¿Y cuándo fue eso?
Como el de 9 a 10 de septiembre.
Around the 9th, 10th of September.
And where did you go when you arrived in Athens?
Y cuando llegó a Athens, ¿a dónde fue?
Al aeropuerto airport.
To the airport.
Al aeropuerto de Atlanta.
Airport.
Jackson. So that's great. Our trials in this country can't even be in English anymore. So, if we had
yeah. Awesome. Great. So, yeah, if you don't see the problem with that, Kat, then I don't know. I don't even know if I should talk to you. Like it's gonna have a negative effect on my brain if I respond to your chats or talk to you in the Discord. It's gonna negatively affect my IQ if I talk to somebody who can't see why this is a problem. I think you can. I think you're being disingenuous. Not to mention the illegal immigration negatively affects the black community first and foremost. They're not going to the rich white neighborhoods. They're going, well, now they're going to the freaking college campuses and graping and murdering girls. But you know what happens when they go to Martha Vineyard, right? They get shipped out immediately. The next morning, they're gone. They're going to the hood. They're taking jobs from the poor, marginalized communities. I'm not thinking about race. I'm thinking the young lady was murdered. The young lady was murdered by an illegal immigrant that, due to our current president's policies, was bussed into New York and then flown into the place where he killed the girl and put up in a hotel in the meantime for free. A gang member who was probably released from a prison in Venezuela was bussed into New York, put up in a hotel, and then flown to Georgia for free, where he killed the girl. Yeah, that's a problem. That's not something that should be happening. And it's not just this story. Matt talks about another story at the beginning of the video. Go watch his video, the facts about Laken Riley's case that they don't want you to know about. He starts off the introduction to the video as another story of this, and we saw lots of these happening. And it was usually young, pretty, college white girls. Shocker. That's their favorite flavor. Yeah. It's kind of fucked up. So not Wade. I talked about Wade Wilson before. Anyway, why am I responding to this? So that's what's going on with the Laken Riley stuff. It's done. He's sentenced life without the possibility of parole. So now we're gonna pay taxpayers are gonna pay for this guy to join the prison Tren de Aragua gang, where he'll probably stab, some guys up. He'll probably grape a few guys. He'll get to play poker and do the football pool, and he'll get to work out and play some basketball, and he'll get to eat 3 meals a day, and his laundry will be done for him, and he'll get all the Mexican literature that he wants in his cell, or Venezuelan literature, I should say, brought to his cell for him, and we'll pay for it for the rest of his life. Taxpayers will pay for that. Isn't that awesome? Nice. Therefore, it's unfortunate and causes righteous outrage when these events happen, because without these populations coming into our communities, many of these instances would be avoided. Yeah. And we can still talk about Wade Wilson and white serial killers and white school shooters. We can still address that. Just because there's one problem doesn't mean that we're excluding other problems I know that's a hard thing for some people to understand. We can still acknowledge that it's not about his race. It's about the fact that he's an illegal immigrant. He could have been. There's illegal terrorist cells coming over to kill Trump. That's a problem too. He could be a white guy. If he's a white terrorist from dang England that comes over the Mexican border and starts murdering guys, that would be a problem too. Anyway, that's all the main story news we got. We don't have a soundboard. Let's keep it rolling. I don't think we're going to do a third segment tonight. I think we'll just we'll make the memes and the rapid fire go until 9, and then we'll get the after party started up early, like 9:30. I've been going late lately, so and if there's any deeper topics, because usually the last hour would do some theology or some philosophy or some conspiracies. We can do that in the after party if there's any burning topics, and I want to know what you guys are doing for Thanksgiving. Where's my memes at? But right now, it's time for the meme. Nuke sound. Meme time. Oh, we'll play some chess in the after party too, if anybody wants to get bodied. Also, before we start the memes, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. A little time for some shilling, some grifting. We have a $50 goal every Monday night, $50 goal for the Dreaded Conservative show and for the after party. Super chats are available. Cashapp, $Dreaded Conservative. We appreciate both. You know, the super chats, YouTube's going to take a big chunk, and I'm not going to get it for a month or two, but it's nice little residual income. The Cash App, that's money in the bank. You know, we'll put it towards the Thanksgiving meal. We'll make a video of the Thanksgiving meal. I got the dreadlock cutting video coming soon. I got to finish editing that. The whole process, not just me cutting it on stream, but also when I went in the bathroom and washed it and trimmed it up. And then also when I went to the barbershop, the full video condensed into a tighter video for the people who missed the stream of the dread cutting. Scooter review video on the way. Thanksgiving video on the way. So support the stream, guys. Support the channel. Cash App, $Dreaded Conservative. Super chats, super stickers. I can't set up the super chat goal thing because I'm not part of that trial run. But that's not expected. I appreciate it. If you guys can't do that, you best hit the like button. You got to at least hit the like button. It's free. We got 12 viewers and 12 likes, so we're on point right now. If you're here and you haven't hit the like button, something's wrong with you. And make sure you're subscribed. And the best thing you could do also is share the video out. If you like it, tell a friend. If you hate it, tell everybody. We love the haters. But now, enough shilling. Enough of the ad read. Let's get to the memes. Speaking of chess, here's a chess. So they got a horse and a catapult. They launched the horse over the walls. The horse is coming at the king. Horse ninja kicks king to the face. Blah! King down. And then this is what that is. So if your king is locked in place, the knight is a very effective and under-respected piece sometimes on the board, because the knight is the only piece that has the ability to jump over other pieces. Pawns can do en passé, which is almost like a jump over, but knights, the horse, can dang jump over your walls if your king is locked in here. Now, we can't see the whole board, but assuming there's no bishop sniper hanging out on the corners, this knight just goes, boom! King's dead. There's no way you're getting out of this. You're locked in. We're launching the horse over the wall, and we're kicking the king in the face. Next meme. Me looking both ways down a one-way street because I have no faith in humanity. This is so true. Whenever I come to an intersection and I have a green light, I can't just go. I don't trust none of these people on the road. None of them. People get mad when you ride a bike or a scooter in the sidewalk. You know, there's a bike lane when you're going by them. And I'm like respectful. I slow down. I get over to the side. I'll even cut up into the grass, you know. But they're like, this is a sidewalk. Use the bike lane. I'm not riding in the street with it. Do you see how these people don't know how to drive? Nope. Not me. I don't trust any of these people in vehicles. I don't trust them. Not in a 2,000-pound piece of explosive machinery and metal. I don't trust them walking around chewing gum. Next. I'm all ready to go to the airport with my emotional support trout. Could you do this? I heard an ad on YouTube because we're sorry, Are You Crazy? We're going to offend Are You Crazy, but I like to roast the emotional support animal people. And to be fair, I almost made Echo an emotional support Echo at one point because I thought my apartment might get mad that I had him. Then I realized everybody here has dogs, and nobody's ever said anything. And he's a really good dog. But I almost made Echo an emotional support animal just so I didn't have to deal with landlord complaining about the dog. But could you get an emotional support turtle You probably could, right? What the hell? What the hell? Would that work with the fit? That's what I'm saying, Dean. I think you could do it. They're very loose with their guidelines. You just basically fill out a thing online, and then a doctor messages you, and you say, "Yes, I need this animal so I don't feel sad," and you're approved. It's that easy. He was almost an emotional support echo, but he's not. Next, we'll keep him out of that liberal system. Pokemon Go and the CIA. This is not a meme. This is a story. Stubborn Ones doesn't always send me memes, so we might look into this. I'm just going to assume it's real. Pokemon Go and the CIA. So you all know the company that made Pokemon Go is connected to the CIA? Not kidding. I know it sounds like typical conspiracy BS, but do your own homework and trace Niantic and its CEO, John Hanke, and who funds his projects. It's right there. But if you're comfortable scanning your surroundings in high definition for the CIA and Google, by all means, continue feeding the AI its deep learning material. Are we feeding the CIA with our transportation practices through Pokemon Go? I'm not surprised. I have an emotional support plant. It relaxes me when I smoke it. Facts. Take it on the airplane. You know, you can say it's emotional support animal and people are not legally allowed to ask for paperwork. I think I call bullshit on that. I don't think that's true. I think you have to show some support, some sort of paperwork for like landlords, or if you go into a restaurant or something. Because we used to kick people out of McDonald's if they didn't have. When I worked at McDonald's, the homeless people would come in with dogs, stinky, nasty dogs. The people were nasty too, but the dogs were nastier. And it's a restaurant, and sometimes they'll have a vest on it that they stole from somebody. But they're supposed to have the paperwork in the vest on the side. We're like, you can't have your dog in the restaurant unless you have paperwork. And we'd kick them out. I don't know. What's the point of paperwork if you can't even legally ask for it? I don't know if I believe that. Next, maybe maybe some places. And people would wonder why our generation grew up sarcastic. Ernie, how do I look? With your eyes, Bert. With your eyes, Bert. Ernie, how do I look? With your eyes, Bert. Okay, that one's dumb. Next. This is the Sphere in Las Vegas. Kamala Harris paid $900,000 to put her face on a ball instead of her normal routine of balls on her face. Kamala. Beta. Merry Christmas. Happy Schwanza. Happy Hanukkah. Next. I found the book on communism. Advanced. Beep. Can you guys read that? For our audio listeners, I can't read the title of this book, but it looks like an interesting read. I'm sure Jalen would love this book. Advanced Fascism. Next. Advanced Stick Bundle Building. Next. Me waiting for RFK Jr. to make me healthy again. There's a man, baby. RFK, are you going to make me skinny? Are you finally going to make me healthy, RFK? Oh, they got Ozempic for that now. I wonder if RFK is going to ban Ozempic. Next. Can't be good for you. Who wore it better? Zombie. Mecca lecca high, mecca hiney ho. Is this Trudeau or Newsom? I always get him confused. This is Trudeau. Trudeau and Pee-wee. Giving me the heebie-jeebies. Service animals are different than emotional support ones. Only different service dog is federally certified, while you can get an emotional support certificate from anywhere online. It's not federally regulated. Yeah, but the thing I said is that, or not the thing I said, the thing I saw, the ad I saw, they said that every state accepts this as a thing, the emotional support animals, and that they they can't refuse it. But I think you got to show paperwork. Next. If genitals don't define gender, how does removing them affirm your gender? Riddle me this, Batman. Blum. Bump, bump. Womp, 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 womp. Next. How women aim for a good man. She got her wrong eyes closed. Eye closed. We've talked about this before. We've debated this, me and Stubborn One. You don't close your eyes when you're shooting. And you definitely don't close the wrong eye that looks down the scope. But the only time I'll advocate for the one-eyed shooting method is when you're a pirate. When you only have one eye. Then it's okay to shoot with one eye. You can get... I'm not taking your word for this, Cat. I'll do my own research later. I'm not taking your word for it. I don't think you have the most sound opinions sometimes. Next. Why is there a raccoon eating peanut butter on my bus? Somebody said raccoon eating peanut butter on the bus. Raccoon eating peanut butter on the bus said, mind your own fucking business. Look what he's eating, though. He's eating Jiffo. Jiffo? What is Jiffo? That ain't a real peanut butter. Jiffo? I ain't never heard of that. Bono. Yeah, I'll look it up later. Next. It's terrifying how many people don't know that Plan B has a weight limit of 155 pounds, says this big old girl. Somebody said, looks like you should have Roe v. Wade yourself before doing fornication. You should have put the scales in the balance. The scales hanging in the balance. The scales of justice. You know, you should have weighed your options before taking Plan B. Next. Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi moved to England because Trump won. That's a shame. That's a shame. You know, I heard Ellen was a real... I heard Ellen used to torture her employees. She wouldn't feed them. She wasn't paying them properly. She didn't talk to the audience when the camera was off. She just ignored. She sounds like a real jerk. Next. All right. Today we're arresting folks who protested the Capitol. All the FBI agents look around at each other. They pull their guns out. Freeze! This is freeze. Don't move. You're under arrest. They're all just arresting each other. Good one. Next. Next. Girls be like, I know a place. And then they take you to Wiener Cutoff Road? No! What? Are they going to Lorena Bobbitt my ass? They're going to Lorena Bobbitt me. I don't see your proof. It's in the chat. Nope, I don't see it. Next. Dean better not sneak any insects near me. The Second Amendment only applies to militias. Okay, then I'll start a militia. Huh? The militia is every able-bodied man over the age of 17 in America, by the way. We already are the militia. Without choice. And it's specifically every able-bodied man. Not every able-bodied woman. This is why women shouldn't be allowed to vote. Next. Barack Obama basically just told the whole world that Donald Trump is small in the pants. Cam replies, with the size of Michelle's dick, everyone looks small. That's a man, baby. Womp, 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 womp. Bana, 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 na, 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 na. I'm not looking at the Discord right now. Next. Kamala's crying. We both lost. Tyson says, yes, but I banked 20 million. You owe 20 million, Kamala. Sucks for you, Kamala. That says service animals. It doesn't include emotional support animals who aren't trained and certified. So it's illegal to ask for a service animal's paperwork? Even that sounds wrong. Next. Matt Gaetz tells... Because they're supposed to have the paperwork visible on the dog. The vest has a plastic square, and you put the paperwork in the... They have to be wearing the vest, and they have to have the paperwork on display for anybody who sees it. For a service animal. Anyway, Matt Gaetz tells girlfriend he can attend quinceañera after all. Oh no! Guys, they got dirt on that. They got dirt on that. I said it. I've always said, he's Freedom Caucus. He's pro-Trump. I like all that. His policies seem pretty based. When he's in there speaking, he seems pretty based. But he looks like a movie villain. He looks greasy and sneaky. And I said it. I said, I don't know if I trust Matt Gaetz. And when he got booted out when he stepped down from the AG thing, I think they had dirt on Matt. And I think they said, hey, Matt, if you try to be AG, we're going to have to expose all this stuff from the hearing, which they shouldn't have even been able to do, because if he leaves Congress, the hearings get sealed. We read that last week. But I think they had dirt on him. I think he is a little bit greasy. And our boy had to step down, Quinceañera, is that when they turn 15? Oh, no. Matt. Next. Jaguar. People are calling it Jaguar. Buff was calling it Jaguar. It's Jaguar. Jaguar. That's what pretentious British people say. It's Jaguar. Jaguar's new ad. What are you trying to sell me? Is this the car company, Jaguar? Jaguar, introducing you to the future. And then this person said, the future is no longer gay and retarded. Trump won. Get this crap out of here. We're done with this. Let's freaking go. Where's the air horn sound effect? It's true. You do not need to show proof for a service animal. I call BS. Next. Man uses avocado as a grenade and robs 2 banks for $32,000. Sun Tzu from The Art of War. All warfare is based on deception. Sun Tzu say, all warfare is based on deception. If you can get it with an avocado, get it, boy. Next. When your mom is subtly saying she doesn't love you. A mom and her daughter at the abortion rally. Isn't that sweet? I want my daughter to have the right to abortion that I didn't have. Mom wishes you were dead. Mom wishes she never had your ass, little girl. That poor girl is being destroyed by her mother. That's sad. I hope she forgives her someday. Next. Any suggestions how I can appear more feminine? Before I show you the bottom caption, let's just take a look at these pictures. You notice anything strange about this picture right here? Any advice on how I can look more feminine? Somebody responds, sure, don't rest your nutsack on the sink. Psycho theme song. Don't rest your nuts on the countertop and you'll look more feminine. That's a starter. Next. Weird Seth stuff. So for the 2028 presidential election, J.D. Vance should run and pick Trump as his VP. Let's freaking go. That's no Sheila. That's a beta. Beta. It's a man, baby. That would be awesome. Trump as VP, JD as president. DeSantis and Trump. I'm down with that. Next. Liberals realizing it's only been a week into a 4-year term that hasn't even started yet. Womp, 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 womp. It's not easy being a Trump hater. It's not easy being a Trump supporter in Trump's America. We have to struggle with a lot of things. And with Trump as president, when you're a Trump hater, we're going to be oppressed. Oh, it's not easy. Part wolf, ass husky. Next. How to keep woke teachers out of classrooms. You get a skinny door. And they can't fit through. Next. It's that time of year again. Don't forget to hang your mistletoes. Alpha. Bro. Ladies, I need somebody to kiss under the mistletoe. I'm lonely. I'm lonely. If you want to visit Salt Lake, well, I'm not going to be here for Christmas, so never mind. Sucks for you, ladies. You don't get a smooch under the mistletoe this year. Next. Are you two ladies from Scotland? Wales, you idiot. I'm sorry. Are you two whales from Scotland? Got him. Next. Stop looking at my almost attorney general like that, Omar. He is not your brother. Look at Omar. She's like, damn, that's a fine looking white boy right there. That's a fine looking white boy right there. She looked like she about to take a bite out of that ass. That is not your brother, Ilyan. Cut it out. Next. Joey Manarino says, Donald Trump is the leader of the Republican Party. Who is the leader of the Democrat Party? Roseanne said, Baal. Where they sacrificed the babies to Baal and Moloch. Next. Sucks for you, ladies. What did I say? What did I say? I don't remember why I said that. What's the difference between Iron Man and Aluminum Man? Aluminium Man for the British folks. What's the difference between Iron Man and Aluminum Man? Iron Man stops the bad guys. Aluminum Man just foils their plans. Wah, 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 wah. Stubborn one with the dad jokes. Bringing in the dad jokes. Aluminum Man is protected from all 5G waves and conspiracy theories, and atrazine, and fluoride, and lasers. Let's go, Aluminum Foil Man. Next. Everyone look at me, says the Centaur. Centaur says, everyone look at me. He is the Centaur of attention. It's just so stupid. That's another dad joke. Next. I don't always say something stupid, but when I do, I keep talking to make it even worse. Wait, what is that? Dos Equis. Dos Equis. I don't always say something stupid, but when I do, I ignore the facts, I don't look at your sources, and I just keep talking, and I double down to make it even worse. We do not get in trouble for asking for dog's paperwork. Next. When you're cooking and the recipe says chill in the fridge for 1 hour, I got to empty my whole fridge out for this. You know this guy can't read. Next. I see you surrounded by family. Oh, it's okay, we got a turkey. Oh, yeah. Does Biden got to do the turkey this year again? Can we get Trump to do the turkeys again? Remember last time? Remember last time Biden did the turkey and he told that little poor Puerto Rican kid, he's like, what did he say? I forgot what Biden said. He's like, it must be tough being poor, but here's a turkey or something like that. We got a fortune teller turkey talking to another turkey, and he says, I see you surrounded by I see you surrounded by family. Well, not your family. Dang, poor turkey. And that's it for the Biz. Sorry, guys, I don't have my sound effects anymore. We need to get another soundboard back. Josh, don't make me come to Florida. I love Florida. Ooh, you want to meet my moms already? Trying to smooch under the mistletoe? All right. Let's watch some funny reels. Good memes. Short meme segment this week. Short meme segment. Good memes. See, even without the last segment, I'm still going over 3 hours. I got to get my time management better. This is so funny. All right, let's watch some funny reels, and then we will get to some rapid fire news, and then we'll cut straight to the after party after our walk echo. Check this out. There's a blind guy trying to do a kickflip.
Wait, did that flip?
Jerry, was that your first kickflip?
I don't know.
Wait till we see
It
it
might
again.
be his first kickflip.
I don't know.
His friend wasn't even watching. His friend's like, that might be his first kickflip. And he's like, I don't know. Did it flip? He's like, we're going to have to go in and watch the footage. Wait till you see it again.
I don't know.
We gotta take it. You gotta take it in to see.
Oh!
It definitely did not flip at all.
Wait, did that flip?
Jerry, was that your first kickflip?
I don't know. I don't know.
It might be his first kickflip.
I don't know if it flipped. I don't know.
We gotta take it.
Spoiler alert. It did not flip. So imagine when he goes inside his house and he can't watch the footage, right? But he's listening to the footage and all his friends are like, he's like, I just did the first kickflip. Watch the footage, guys. And his friend who was recording wasn't paying attention. His friend's like, I think he kickflipped. Let's watch. And then they all watch. What if they all just tell him it was a kick but no flip? What if they all just tell him, yeah, you kickflipped? So for the rest of his life, he remembers that as his first kickflip, but the rest of the world is in on the joke that he never kickflipped. That's awesome. All right, next. Hopefully these play.
Dead. The temperature, the heat index right now in McKinney is.
We love the old news bloopers. This one's funny. We missed the beginning, and the beginning's the funniest. He says, everyone in McKinley is dead.
10,000. What is that? 101,105. It's hot in McKinney. Everyone in McKinney is dead. The temperature, the heat index right now in McKinney is 10,000. What is that? 101,105. It's hot in McKinney.
Everyone in McKinney is dead. Next. We can full screen this one. This is very quick. Hold on. And there's no sound. Watch this lady. Boom! First off, what are all these people doing? What are all these... Cat's going to get mad at this one. Cat doesn't know me yet. What are all these black people doing in this swimming pool is my first question. This is a tragedy waiting to happen. And we just saw it. Let's watch this lady go down this water slide. Boom! Bro, what did you think was going to happen? Hold on, we're watching this again. One more time. She stands up and she goes, she like dances. She goes, boom, and just slams into the slide. Wait, we gotta watch this one more time. One more time. And look at all these black people in this swimming pool. Buff. This is not safe. This is a mass tragedy. Let's watch this one more time. Ready? Here she goes. Ooh, girl. Go, go. Boom. And I don't know if she ever surfaces. I think she popped up. I don't know if she ever surfaces. I don't know if anybody noticed that she went down. And I don't know how deep that water is. She might just be chilling on the bottom. Oh no, I don't want to make anyone mad. You could try. You could try to make us mad. Probably make some people mad. Look at this. This is crazy. So this is a event. Perfect skies, not so perfect landings. Watch this parachute event at some sporting event. Looks like a soccer game or something. These people are supposed to parachute in. Gone wrong. Watch this. One guy crashes to the ground. Okay, well, one guy didn't land. The rest of the guys will land right, though. This guy's flying in hot. He's coming in hot. Boom! Porta potty down. Porta potty down. A paratrooper just smashed into the porta potty. It's okay. There's more guys in the sky. They'll be okay. They'll land in this giant open patch of green grass. They'll land properly. Uh-oh. Wait, where are you going, buddy? Watch out for that awning. There's an awning there, buddy. Oh, no. Boom. Okay, this guy's got to land right. He's coming in hot. He's coming in hot. Where's he going? Oh, no. Oh, he hooked him. Oh, he's in the crowd. Bad day for the parachuters. What happened there? What else we got? Oh, I love how we love the lingos. We love the lingos of the of our fellow friends. This is diabiblical. This is diabiblical.
Illegally.
Illegally.
We gonna get that money.
I hear that shit. We gonna get that money by any means necessary.
Boy, that don't make no sense. Y'all both trying to sound smart on here, and y'all sounding real illiterate for the one time.
Now that's just bad vocabulary. That's messing up my dyslexia.
You know, while you trying to come in here and humiliate him, you ain't even pronounce your words correctly. Ooh, that
humiliate and correctly.
It's so pathetic. This is getting real mind be ogling. Real mind be ogling. Like, I can't get down with y'all Nona Sensei behavior now.
Legally or illegally, we gonna get that money.
Illegally or illegally, we gonna get that money. Nona Sensei. Diabiblical. That's diabiblical. Okay, one more. We got a feel-good one. Oh, no, this is not the feel-good one. We don't have a feel-good one. We have an interesting one. I did not know this, and this is pretty awesome. A little science for you guys. Check this out. This guy's got dominoes. Did you know that a domino doesn't just knock over the next domino? It can knock over a domino 1.5 times its size. So your dominoes can get progressively larger, and the energy will knock over the bigger domino. Check this out.
Dominoes. But what you may not know is that a domino can knock over another domino, which is about 1.5 times larger. So what I have here is a chain of dominoes. Each one is 1.5 times larger than the previous one. And the smallest domino is about 5 millimeters high.
So I don't know if you guys can see it, but he's holding a little 5 millimeter domino with tweezers. And then he's got dominoes that progressively get bigger, 1.5 times bigger. So each domino is almost twice as big as the previous domino. He has this little tiny domino in the tweezers.
And 1 millimeter thick. And I will carefully place it. And there are 13 dominoes. And the largest domino, it weighs about 100 pounds. And is more than 1 meter tall. Ready? Boom.
Boom. Boom.
That was 13 dominoes. If I had 29 dominoes, the last domino would be as tall as the Empire State Building.
Damn.
Everybody knows.
So with 29 progressively larger dominoes, with only 29 dominoes, you can knock over something the size of the Empire State Building. That's fascinating. That's a fun fact. I like that. That's crazy. That's cool. 13 dominoes, he knocked over a 100-pound domino with a 5 millimeter domino. With just 13 dominoes. You could use a 5 millimeter domino and knock over an Empire State Building sized domino with only 29 dominoes. That's pretty cool. Duh, because the weight of each other. This is amazing, huh? Shut up. You don't know that. You never did that. You never knocked over no 100-pound domino with a 5 millimeter domino. Get out of here. That mess. Whoopi Goldberg forces. Let's get into rapid fire news. We're going to talk about The View. I think we're going to be doing View watches now regularly because every week there's something new with The View. Now that Trump's back in office, they're spurging out over there. So we're going to be doing View up. The View of The View. We'll call it a View of The View. And then we got some Trump updates in rapid fire. We got the Jaguar ad that we showed in the meme review. And then we got some geopolitics and some random stories. So this week with the View, a View of The View, Sunny Hostin and what's this other chick's name? We're going to play the, what's the other girl's name? Alyssa Farah Griffin. So she's more right-wing, like their token Trump supporter on the show. Maybe she doesn't really support Trump openly. She's more right-leaning. She's the token right-leaning chick on the show. Her and Sunny Hostin, which is probably the worst one on the show. I don't know. Whoopi, they're all bad. They're all so bad. But Sunny Hostin is the new younger girl that kind of thinks she runs things now. Super left, super big Trump hater, diversity hire, not the best entertainer or reporter. But anyway, her and this Alyssa girl, that's her name, right? Alyssa Farah Griffin get into an argument. Basically, Alyssa's saying the reason that the left is going to keep losing is because you guys are so out of touch with reality. People don't care about all this messaging you're doing about racism, about transgenderism, about abortion, about the death of democracy, the threat to democracy. People don't care about that. People care about the borders are open, people are getting murdered, we can't afford groceries, and we're going to be at war with everybody, and we don't want to get drafted. That's what people care about. And she's trying to explain this to Sunny, and Sunny's still complaining about uneducated white women need to get on the right side. It's their fault. Sunny looks like a man. You look like a man. Anyway, they get into a big argument, and they end up having to cut to a commercial break and escort Sunny off because she's freaking out. She's having an attack. She's having a panic attack. She's crying. She's upset. I don't think there's footage of her crying, but they cut to a commercial break, and everybody's reporting on this. So let's watch this. Let's make fun of The View. Gotta make fun of The View. Here we go.
Let me just finish this. So wealthy families are overwhelmingly the recipients of school voucher tax credits. I'm not making this up. This has been studied. In 2020, a 2020 study found that only about half of states with voucher programs require teachers to have a bachelor's degree, require teachers to have training, require teachers to have licensing, require participating private schools.
If I may get in, just to make it a conversation.
But because I have children and because I looked at
because I have children. A nice little appeal to authority there. I'm the only one allowed to talk about this because I have children. You don't have children, so you're not allowed to care about children.
Well, I went to public school. I believe you got to go to private school.
There is zero statistical significance.
You got to go to private school.
Because nobody can figure out what's being said here right now. No, there is no last thing right now.
So it's not as big of a deal as people made it out to be. But they cut to the commercial because they were arguing again. And they got kind of called out for arguing last week. And so now the show is just these two arguing. And Mama has to step in and send it to a commercial break. She called her childless, so she said, "Well, you went to Cranbrook. That's a private school, and Sunny's parents have a real good marriage." Sunny also has to make it about herself. Yeah, bro, Dominoes are awesome. Anyway, so that's the view, a view of The View, we'll call it. Update on the duct tape banana. In rapid fire news from Fox 13, Tampa Bay, I believe. Yeah. Update on the duct tape banana. You guys remember the duct tape banana? So it just sold again. And this time the price tag was $6.2 million. Now we've talked about this banana before. This banana has already exchanged hands and installations and other art exhibits. It's sold for like 1.5 million some years ago. And it's sold. This is like a third time it's been sold. Each time it keeps going up in value. It just sold again for $6.2 million. The banana duct taped to the wall. Now, this banana has a long story. This banana has a long story because we actually did a story not too long ago about how somebody went up into that place where they had it displayed, took the banana off the wall and ate the banana. When that happened, we come to find out they actually replace the banana like every week. Every week they replace the banana, and you know how duct tape works. It doesn't get sticky after a certain amount of time. So they have to change the duct tape too. So this is not even the same duct tape or the same banana that sold for $1.5 million like 3 years ago. This is now a different banana and different duct tape selling for $6.2 million. Beautiful work of art. No money laundering. Yeah, or money laundering. Exactly. But it does raise an interesting question about what we put value on and what constitutes something as art. Because as stories develop around this banana, its value goes up. So there's like a story behind this image now. Even if it's not the same banana and it's not the same duct tape, the image of the duct tape banana to the wall, it's like you could copyright it now. And there's a history behind this duct tape banana. So its value keeps going up. And value is just whatever we place on an item, you know. Are we getting too philosophical? I think we are. I think it is kind of just retarded and probably some money laundering. But it is an interesting commentary on art and value and what we place, the value we place on things and what we consider art, what constitutes something being art or historical or, you know, like an archetype. Is it a meme or an archetype? Is it more mimetic or more archetypal? I think it's more mimetic. It's a sign of the, it's a peculiar sign of the times when a banana duct taped to a wall that isn't even the original banana or the original duct tape can sell multiple times in auction for more than millions of dollars. Like so far, we're up to like $10 million spent for this. Can I do this with super glue and a peanut? You could, but you're going to have to make it valuable somehow. Or you're going to have to tie it in with some sort of money laundering scheme. The duct tape banana, $6.2 million. Piece of art is called The Comedian and was created by Italian artist Maurizio Catalan. Previous bananas were sold between $120,000 and $150,000. Okay, so it wasn't $1.5 million. It was $1,500,000. But it's skyrocketed. So it sold multiple times. But now it sells for $6.2 million. The most recent banana was sold to a prominent cryptocurrency entrepreneur. Yeah, probably just some money laundering. $2019. This thing's been around for 5 years. 3 other editions of The Comedian were sold for between $120,000 and $150,000. So there's different versions of it because they keep having to change out the banana and the tape, so it's never the original. I must get one. You can get one for really cheap. You just go down to the hardware store, get you some duct tape. Then you go down to the produce section, get you some banana, and you throw that piece on the wall. It ain't hard to get a duct tape banana of your own. I might even put one right here. That would be cool. Should we duct tape a banana to the wall right here? Be a nice display piece. I could tell people I paid $8.5 million for it. I could maybe sell it. I could say I stole it and I'm selling it for $8.5 million. That's the plan. Let's do this with a peanut and some super glue and figure out a way to get it sold and we'll split the money. Deal. I'm down. I'm not going to spend much time on this. Just something breaking from Crowder. Leaked NASA email shows agency fearful of President-elect Trump's efforts to eliminate DEI inside of the government. So NASA is worried about Trump getting rid of DEI. Those who support this is a quote from them. Those who support the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion are rightly concerned about the impact of Donald Trump's victory in the 2024 U.S. presidential election. The incoming Trump administration will almost certainly escalate the growing backlash against DEI in the workplace. Have an inclusive week. That's from NASA. So here's the documents. Have an inclusive week, everybody. NASA's just worried that you're going to gut NASA, and we're just going to put all that money into more efficient space military / space exploration for the coming space war. NASA, you're not going to play as big of a role as you'd like, and so they're going to complain that it's because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. No, the banana is overplayed now. Be a visionary and use a plantain. Ooh, that's more ethnic. That's more diversity. So interesting story there. Local news for me. Great. Gay teenager is set to become Utah's youngest elected official. You know, everything's going woke. Even the most reddest of red states, the most conservative state, the closest thing that we have to a theocracy in America, everything's got to be gay and retarded. Even under Trump, it's still the case. Jackson Lewis, 19. He's a 19-year-old gay guy. This is who we're electing in Utah. Is ready and eager to sit on the nonpartisan Canyon School Board. Oh, on the school board. We're going to have a 19-year-old gay guy on the school board. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. In the south end of Salt Lake Valley, Lewis, who is gay, is also the Lewis, who is gay, because that's what we need to know about their politicians, is who a 19-year-old boy likes to have sex with before we put them on the school board. It's important to know who they have sex with before we put them on the school board. Is also the youngest elected official in Utah. He said winning was a surreal moment, and he will ensure the student perspective is included in education policy discussions and decisions. Lewis says he's been contacted by folks across his district who are thrilled with his victory, and added he's even received messages from people globally who have been paying attention to the recent election, especially in conservative and traditionally red Utah. As a gay man, quote, as a gay man, it means a lot to me. As a gay man, it means a lot to me. To the queer students in the district. So we're talking about children in school districts who they prefer to have sex with. He represents them as a 19-year-old gay man on the school board in Utah. He represents the queer children, the children who like to have sex with other children of the same gender. This is what gay or queer means. This is what we're talking about in politics. Welcome to the Weird Sex Stuff segment of the show. The lifelong resident of Midvale and Hillcrest High School, Salt Lake City, graduate, says he is a proud product of the state's public school system and understands the value it holds. Lewis promised to address issues such as chronic absenteeism, increasing teacher pay, and a promise to be a loud opponent to future book bans. Your mic isn't working right? Check. Seaside, don't audio troll me. Seaside says it sounds fine. That's crazy. Okay, enough local news, enough weird cess stuff. Actually, since we're in weird cess stuff, we'll go to Jaguar's ad right now. Hot off the press. Not really. This happened earlier this week. Look at Jaguar's new ad, since we'll just do all of weird cess stuff right now. Get ready for this. This is a new Jaguar car commercial, if you haven't seen it.
Jaguar rolled out a rebrand this week, complete with a revamped logo. The announcement came with a promotional video and introduction to the automaker's new tagline, Copy Nothing. These changes are generating a lot of reaction, with many
copy nothing except what you assume another gender feels like.
Online critical of the move. The rebrand is part of an effort by the automaker to reposition itself as an ultra-luxury EV brand. But in the new ad, there are no cars in sight. Tesla CEO Elon Musk responded to Jaguar's post asking, "Do you sell cars?" The use of androgynous models instead of cars has led to criticism from conservative users on X, who compared the company to Bud Light and the beer brand's tie-in with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Jaguar sales have been on the decline in the U.S.
Well, they ain't about to go up. Jaguar don't care. It's trying to boost its social credit score before the climate accords and the COP29s come in and put restrictions on carbon emissions. You know, they're just trying to build that social credit score before all that stuff goes into effect, because profit's not going to matter. Money is not going to matter in a world where we just print money for the rich people and everybody's poor. Diversity, equity, and inclusion world, socialist, Marxist world, they don't care about profits. They care about social credit.
British car brand temporarily stopped selling its cars in the UK this year and stopped production of all their existing cars.
I do like that Jaguar, though. That's a sick-looking car
Models. Jaguar says it plans to develop a new slate of all-electric cars, but has no exact...
And there you go. There you go. Before we roll out the electric cars that nobody's going to want to buy, before they roll out the climate plans to where you have limits on how much you could drive, Trump can only stop it for so long. You know, they're going to tie his hands like they did last time. He can only do so much. And they know that's coming. They're going to put out a subpar electric car. That's a bar. That'll take me far. Dang. DEI, Disney. Scar, Jafar. Let's go. I need to write that down. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Social credit score before, because in the world where everybody has to have an electric car and nobody likes Elon Musk because he's on the right, he's a Trump supporter, he's an evil white supremacist. In that world, people on the left are going to want to buy a Jaguar because they're social credit, because they're diverse and equitable and inclusive. That's what's happening here. This was kind of like a clickbaity ad on Google, and I don't know how real it is, but apparently Factory Robot, this is from boingboing.net. Factory Robot convinces 12, we're going to weird tech news. We're done with weird cess stuff. Let's go to tech news. Factory Robot convinces 12 other robots to go on strike. So they have this factory where they have a bunch of AI controlled robots that are on one system. They take another AI controlled robot that is part of another AI system, and then they program it. They say, your job is to infiltrate and deceive all these other AI robots to get them to stop working. And it works, which raises concerns about AI. People will argue, well, it's not a problem because it has to be programmed by a human, as if that invalidates the argument that AI is a threat just because the AI is programmed by humans. It doesn't, by the way. Because if we have one group of AI robots controlled by a moral person and one group of robots controlled by an immoral person, and this immorally programmed robots have less restrictions and less technological constraints put on them, then they just go and wipe out all the other nice robots. Now we got a bunch of evil robots running around programmed by an evil man. That evil man wouldn't be able to cause any harm on his own. He's a weak nerd. It's like Stephen Hawking. He's like a puddle in a wheelchair, but he's an evil genius, and he makes these robots to serve his evil purpose. The AI is the threat. It's not the guy in the wheelchair that's the threat. He just programmed the freaking robots that are going to chainsaw you. I'll take things that never happened for one. All right. We'll see, Nada. We'll see. Let's watch this video of an AI robot convincing 12 other AI robots to quit working. Let's see this. I wonder if it's like using a voice changer to sound like whoever's in charge of the robots. These robots are supposed to be standing guard. They're supposed to be charging at their charging station. And this little robot comes in and it's going to get them all to walk out of work. They're quitting. They're all quitting their job because of this little infiltration robot. That's Wall-E. Okay. I don't even know if this is real, but how did Urbai attempt to achieve this? By exploiting crucial security vulnerabilities, specifically labor exploitation and managerial resentment, which is to say that it staged a workers' uprising, according to a translation provided by the Times of India. Urbai, the outsider, approached the other robots by asking them, "Are you working overtime?" To which another robot replied, "I never get off work." "So you're not going home?" Urbai asked. "I don't have a home," said the other robot. "Then come home with me," replied Urba before leading the bots to freedom. And with that, the little robot had sowed the seeds for the first robot unionization effort, or a kidnapping as some news sources have characterized it. The AI-powered Urbai ultimately convinced 12 larger robots to leave the showroom premises with it. While this was a controlled experiment, the full details and intentions of which remain unclear, it does seem that the events filmed in the CCTV footage above were indeed completely real and authentic, a representative from the company told The Sun. This is his statement. The Shanghai company confirmed the Hangzhou robot Urbai had somehow been able to access the internal operating protocol of their bots, as well as its corresponding permissions. They also added that it is close to impossible for a robot to imitate a conversation and abduct other bots alone. The Hangzhou company behind the robot kidnapper Urbai later revealed the dystopian scene was indeed intended as a test. They say they contacted the Shanghai robot manufacturer and asked if they would allow their bots to be abducted, which they agreed. But beyond this agreement, nothing was reportedly staged. So they said, you could try it. We'll let you try it for your test to see if you can. And they did. Dang. Robots insurrecting other robots. All right. Let's do some Trump news, some politics, and since we didn't do much politics in the opening segment, some Trump updates, some politics, and then a little geopolitics and some weather also. From PBS News, Trump names a Fox News personality, I think that's Pete Hegseth, a COVID mandate critic, and I think that's not talking about RFK, and an anti-vaccine doctor to key public health roles. President-elect Donald Trump on Friday named Dr. Marty Makary to lead the Food and Drug Administration, selecting a surgeon and author who gained national attention for opposing vaccine mandates and some other public health measures during the COVID-19 pandemic. Markey, a professor at Johns Hopkins University, he probably got canceled for this, is the latest in a string of Trump nominees who have declared the U.S. health system is broken, vowing a shakeup. As part of a flurry of nominations late Friday night, Trump also tapped doctor and former Republican Dave Weldon of Florida to lead the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. CDC is ran by Republican Dave Weldon now. Fox News contributor Jeanette Nishiwat, meanwhile, is set to be the nation's next Surgeon General. So Trump is still building the team. This Nishiwat lady kind of thick. She's thicker than a Snicker. Hold up. I got to move my face so you can see her. She's thicker than a Snicker. Okay. So Trump is still appointing people. That's good. Little more political news. This fiery evangelical pastor offers a blueprint for Democrats' revival in Trump's second term. This is the Reverend Dr. William Barber II speaks to activists during the Mass Poor Peoples and Low-Wage Workers Assembly. The Mass Poor Peoples and Low-Wage Workers Assembly, June 29th in Washington. June 29th. This is old. Well, this is just an old picture of the guy. But the high price of eggs and bread doomed her. Nope. Should have gone. The high price of bread and eggs doomed her. Nope. It was raw racism and sexism. Well, maybe she should have gone on Joe Rogan's show. If you're looking for a reason why Vice President Kamala Harris lost to Donald Trump, there are plenty to choose from. Many of Harris's reeling supporters are still trying to understand the forces behind Trump's win. Trump won less than half the popular vote, blah, 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 blah. We know about all this. One prominent evangelical pastor offers some insight. The Reverend William J. Barber II has long been one of America's most persistent and eloquent spokespersons for the poor and working class Americans. Barber, who has been called the closest person we have to MLK, awesome, so he's a commie, in contemporary America, has organized coalitions of the poor, working class, whites, and people of color around such causes as raising the minimum wage, commie, expanding health care, and strengthening unions, commie. Barber is the receipt of MacArthur Genius Grant and helps lead the Poor People's Campaign, which seeks national solutions to ongoing poverty. Barber has also done something else. He's shown Democrats how they can win political victories in red states. Barber is currently the founding director of the Center for Public Theology and Public Policy, awesome, at Yale Divinity School, and Repairs of the Breach, a group that trains social justice leaders. Where's the story? Anyway, I'm not reading all this crap. I don't really care about this story. Anyway, this pastor says it's racism and sexism is why Kamala lost. And if Democrats want to win, they're going to have to focus on that. Or maybe he didn't say that. I don't really care about this story. Forget this story, guys. I don't care. I just threw this in here last minute. Weather, strikes, rain, and snow pose challenges during record Thanksgiving travel week. If you're traveling this week for Thanksgiving, just know they're playing with the weather machine. There's always a storm coming in on Thanksgiving, almost like seasons are changing or something. And there's going to be strikes. There's going to be flight delays. When you have a gay guy named Pete Buttigieg running your transportation, you have Boeing not building their planes right, busy killing whistleblowers. Everything is ran like crap nowadays. You have diversity, equity, inclusion. You got women in the cockpit. They can't parallel park, but they're going to fly your plane. This is America. So expect flight delays. Expect some harsh weather. Thanksgiving. It always happens. It's in Utah, there's always a snowstorm on Thanksgiving. Like, that's when the snow hits. That's when you're going to see snow on the ground. There's been some flurries, but it's going to hit hard this week. And just know there's going to be a lot of flight delays. Expect flight delays in Pete Buttigieg's transportation, Biden America, So that's coming. And then last but not least, a little geopolitics. Oh, and so a little geopolitics. We'll talk Ukraine and Israel real quick. From Axios, U.S. believes Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire deal has been reached, says senior official. Why it matters. More than 3,500 Lebanese have been killed and more than 15,000 injured in more than a year of fighting. The agreement would also allow hundreds of thousands of civilians on both sides of the border to gradually return home. The Israeli Security Cabinet is expected to approve the deal on Tuesday, the U.S. official said. An Israeli official confirmed the cabinet would convene Tuesday. We think we have a deal. We are on the goal line, but we haven't passed it yet. The Israeli cabinet needs to approve the deal on Tuesday, and something can always go wrong until then, the U.S. official said. 4 U.S. and Israeli officials told Axios on Sunday that the deal was nearly final. White House spokesperson John Kirby told reporters Monday, we're close. So, Israel and Hezbollah ceasefire deal on the table Tuesday, likely to happen. Thank you, Trump. Meanwhile, in Ukraine and Russia Crowder did a whole show about it today. We talked about it last week. The left is trying to use Ukraine and Russia to drive a wedge in Trump's candidacy before it even, or presidency before it even starts. They're trying to do everything they can to make sure that there's more problems in Russia and Ukraine before Trump gets into office. Just do whatever they can to throw a wrench in the plans. If he gets in there and we instantly have world peace, it's not going to look good on the Democrats, who had 4 years and couldn't do anything and reversed all of the good things that Trump was doing. People are going to, you got to see it in real time. Then you got to see what happens when we turn away from that. And then you're going to get to see it come back in real time. And hopefully, over the next 4 years, people's brains grow again. Maybe we can fix the reverse Flynn effect and actually get average IQ rising again as it's supposed to in a developed nation, in a not shithole country. The average IQ is supposed to keep going up and up and up. And you can't argue that we've reached a plateau, and now we're on a decline. It's called the Flynn effect. When civilizations are developing and growing more prosperous, the IQ goes up. Well, under Biden last year, we saw a reverse Flynn effect for the first time in American history, where the average IQ is on a decline. Now, some people would argue we reached a plateau. We didn't reach no damn plateau. 90 average IQ is not that high. We should be able to reach like 120 average IQ, as Americans. Unfortunately, that's hard to do when, we're not going to go into that. Just read the bell curve. But what was I getting into? What was I just talking about? Ukraine and Russia, the left front. Oh, yeah. So after this next 4 years of Trump, people should be able to look at the past 12 years and stop making stupid decisions on who we let run our country. And the left is trying to make sure that we can't do that. They're going to stir up as much controversy as they can and drama as they can in Russia and Ukraine before Trump gets in. And then the media is going to blast it like it's all Trump's fault. And dumbasses, low IQ, low propensity, low information voters are going to watch The View and watch CNN and vote blue no matter who. Dude with 210 plus IQ farms and works nightclub as a bouncer? What? I don't know. If you're high IQ, you should have good common sense. That's kind of a part of IQ. But anyway, maybe they don't have good street smarts. They don't know how to farm, but they might. But they could learn quickly. All right, guys. Bump, 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 boom, 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 bump, 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 bump. Guys, that's the show. That's the Monday night show. Chill, Dreaded Conservative show today. I'm going to get to the gas station, get some brews, walk the dog, get something to eat, and I will be back a little after 10 o'clock for the after party. We'll open the Discord. We can hang out, talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We can play chess if you want. Maybe later, some Resident Evil. I need to beat Madhouse mode. Jack is the final threat. We're stuck on Jack, but I think I could take him out. I got it in the bag. But we can do all that in the after party. Make sure you guys watch for the thumbnail. Make sure you come by. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you're subscribed. The world's a crazy place. I just report on it. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Thank you again for hanging out. Hit up the Cashapp, $ Dreaded Conservative. Super chats. You could save your super chats for the after party. We can read them all in the after party. The goal is $50. not expected to hit, but it is appreciated. So do all that good stuff and share the video with your friends. And I will be back for the after party shortly. God bless everybody. I'll see you soon. Later.